Chapter 606. The limitless sword arts had always been the foundation of Su Yun's fighting. Although the sword art only had a total of 7 moves, but at the level of the middle 2 swords, it was already extremely difficult to comprehend it thoroughly. If there was no one to guide Su Yun, it would be very difficult for him to step into the middle 2 swords level in his entire life. After all, the Sword Elder had said that learning the middle 2 swords and the upper sword was just a legend. It could be said that the Lotus Star sword art's thoughts were rather similar to it. Su Yun had cultivated the Lotus Star sword art and had experienced a lot, so it was not like he did not have any clues about comprehending the first sword of the middle 2 swords. The sword ancestor used the illusion to transform into a large number of birds. These birds were like 100 birds looking up to the phoenix, revolving around Su Yun. The magical scene was astonishing. Su Yun calmed his mind, closed his eyes, and thought. The profound qi in his body slowly flowed like a small stream, circulating around his entire body. The spirit core opened slightly, and his internal organs released a sparkling and translucent luster. It was extremely mysterious. As for Su Yun himself, he had sunk into a state of meditation. This was the sword ancestor's illusion space, and he himself wanted to establish another illusion space. The first sword of the limitless sword arts was to use the myriad spirits as a sword, and the most intuitive way to obtain the myriad spirit sword was to bridge and communicate with the myriad spirits, understand and grasp the myriad spirits, and only then could one obtain the sword. Whether it was a stone, a tree, a flower, or a grass, they all had spirituality. It was just that they were strong and weak. The sword that took out the stone could break through armor and attack the body. The sword that took out the holy beast could roar at the 9 heavens and slash the heaven and earth. Limitless Sword Ancestor continued to talk to Su Yun. Regardless of whether Su Yun could hear him or not, he muttered to himself and continued to speak. Outside the prison, Shan Shue and Su Shintian were still anxiously waiting. It's been so long. Why hasn't Yun'er come out yet? Shun Shue, who was restless, said anxiously. There's no movement inside. Maybe Yun'er is talking to the supreme expert about something. Let's wait patiently and not allow them to come out immediately. Su Shintian said solemnly. But, husband, the people in this dark place are all extremely evil people. The people in this nameless prison are probably not good people. If something happens to Yun'er because of this, you let me. Shun Shue was a little agitated and couldn't even speak. Su Shintian's brows were tightly furrowed, and his expression was somewhat serious. Shue, I know you care about Yun'er a lot, but as matters stand, we have no other choice. Yun'er is no longer the same as before. He is no longer the mischievous child for back then. The current him also has a cultivation of the 3rd stage of the Sky Spirit Master. If the supreme expert inside really wants to harm him, at least with his methods, he might be able to hold on for a while, and we will definitely hear the commotion. But if Yun'er were to be harmed by the other party, just like that, it would be useless for us to go in, and we might even fall into the other party's ambush. So waiting here is the best choice. Hearing that, Shan Shue opened his mouth, but did not say anything. Su Shintian walked over, hugged his wife, and comforted her. Don't worry, Yun'er is blessed by the heavens. He will be fine. We should think positively. As long as we have the help of the supreme expert, we will have the capital to fight against the supreme sect. Although the supreme sect is an extremely special sect, they are not invincible in the world. We will definitely save Luluo. Shun Shue bit her lips and nodded lightly. Inside the prison, Su Yun and Sword Ancestor were still sitting quietly. The current Su Yun felt that he was not in the dark prison, nor did he exist in the Sword Ancestor's illusion space. The current him was completely immersed in a world that he had created. There was nothing in this world, only Su Yun and a small blade of grass. The green grass grew on the ground. It was lush green and full of life. Su Yun stood quietly in front of the grass and looked at it with a solemn expression. In your eyes, what is it? It's just a blade of grass. Then in its eyes, what do you think you are? Me? To it, I'm naturally an unreachable god. If I want to crush it, I can crush it. Then there won't be a bridge between the two of you. and there won't be any opportunity or transformation. What you need to do is to put yourself on the same level as it, and not let it crawl on the ground while you stand high above it. Treat it as a person with the same strength as you, or treat yourself as a stalk of grass that is similar to it. Any living being has an indelible nature, and if you do not understand it, and are not on the same level, there will always be a gap between you and it. In my opinion, everything in this world is my friend. I'm very ordinary. No matter how high my cultivation is, I am just a living being on this earth under the sky, no different from them. They will live and die, they will flourish and wither, and so will I. In the eyes of people, a stone and a blade of grass are actually the same. But in reality, the power of a stone is far greater than a blade of grass. And in the eyes of the world, how can we be special? These words floated in Su Yun's mind. He listened quietly, thought quietly, and comprehended quietly. His heart was as still as water, without the slightest bit of distracting thoughts. But how long did it take? Perhaps it was as long as a century. Or perhaps it was just a breath of time. Su Yun slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, the blade of grass in his eyes had already withered. The leaves were yellow, and the entire blade of grass was wilted and bent. There was no longer any exuberant business. Su Yun looked calmly, as if he was feeling the current state of the blade of grass, experiencing the pain of its imminent death, and recalling the pride and satisfaction of its prosperous moments with it. In this boundless pale world, one person and one blade of grass were frozen just like that. Su Yun did not move at all, and the withered grass was still like a painting. "What are you doing?" Unknowingly, the withered grass had disappeared, and a youth dressed in green sat in front of Su Yun, smiling. "What are you doing now?" Su Yun slowly opened his eyes and asked with a smile. "I have nothing to do." The youth lazily lay on the ground, looking at the sky and crossing his legs. Su Yun did not say anything. Seeing that Su Yun did not speak, the youth pouted, then turned his head and pointed at a towering tree that had appeared out of nowhere, and asked, "How long do you think it will take for me to be as towering as that tree?" "Why do you want to be like the big tree?" "Because it looks very powerful." "Do you think you're weak?" "Of course." The youth's expression froze, and then his mood dropped. "I'm very weak. I'm useless. I feel that I'm the worst living being in this world. What's the difference between me and not me? I was born to be crushed and trampled on by others." His expression was dejected and disappointed. As he spoke, his voice gradually weakened, and his body slowly became transparent. In Su Yun's eyes, the withered grass was becoming more and more withered. "Then, is it just to show your value that you hope to grow up faster and become stronger?" Su Yun asked. "If you can't show your value, who would know that you have come to this world?" The youth said in pain. "But," Su Yun said, "you are wrong. There are countless living beings that know that you have come to this world. Furthermore, they are by your side. They have always been silently watching you, envious of you, praying that one day they can be like you, just like you and that big tree." Hearing that, the youth's expression froze. He raised his head and looked at Su Yun in shock. Su Yun grabbed the sand on the ground and said indifferently, "They are also always envious of you, hoping that one day they can be as prosperous as you, huge and powerful." The youth was completely stunned. "You envy the big tree, but in fact the big tree envies the blue sky even more, and the blue sky envies something even more vast and powerful. Nothing can satisfy you, and nothing can satisfy you, even me. However, I will not envy others as long as I live a good life and do my best. Everything will be up to fate." Su Yun laughed softly, his expression calm. This was indeed his opinion. He would never envy other people's cultivation. The reason why he kept on raising his cultivation was to protect the people around him from harm. The youth quietly looked at Su Yun, looked at him, and continued to look at him. After an unknown period of time, he smiled, a warm smile that warmed people's hearts. "Thank you," he said softly, the green robe on his body becoming brighter and brighter. Su Yun looked at the green and felt his vision blur. Unknowingly, the young man had disappeared, and what appeared in front of him? It was a stalk of grass that was full of vitality. It gently trembled, as if it was telling Su Yun something. Su Yun chuckled, extended his hand, and touched the grass, only to see that the surface of the grass was suffused with waves of green light, and an indescribable spirit aura seeped out from within. This spirit aura was extremely magical, like a soul, like a spirit aura, so exquisite that it made people sigh with emotion. At this moment, Su Yun completely understood. The first sword of the limitless sword arts actually only meant one thing. All things are equal and fair. No one is superior, and no one is inferior. Whether it was a grain of sand or a mountain, there was no essential difference. And under equality, all living things in this world were like him. All of them were his friends. Towards friends, they were willing to help, and they were willing to fight side by side with him. For those who obtained all things, what else could they not do? At this moment, Su Yun's hand also suffused with a green light, resonating with the light of the green grass. In the darkness, he seemed to have felt something. He raised his hand steadily, and a dark green, slender chi sword slowly overflowed from the top of the green grass. The sword's body was bright, and the sword chi was gentle. In the calm, there was an uncontrollable shock. Chapter 607. Su Yun slowly opened his eyes. His surroundings were still that pitch-black and ice-cold prison, but the smile of the person in front of him made him feel incomparably warm. "Do you understand?" Sword Ancestor asked with a smile. "I've already taken a peek at the door." Su Yun nodded. The limitless sword arts is a mysterious sword technique, and the sword saint realm of the middle two swords is not something that can be stepped into with just one or two pointers. As I said before, I am only introducing it to you, and if you want to truly reach this realm, you still need to step into it yourself. Limitless Sword Ancestor stood up, waved his hand slightly, and said, "All right, Su Yun, I have taught you everything that needs to be taught. There is nothing here to stay. Bring the two people outside and quickly leave." Hearing that, Su Yun immediately knelt down on one knee and begged, "Sword Ancestor, the reason why Father and Mother came here is because they hope that you can help us and save my sister. If Sword Ancestor is not willing to help, I am afraid that this disciple will never have the chance to see my sister again in this lifetime." Although Su Yun and Sword Ancestor have just met, Sword Ancestor has taught a lot of disciples in this short period of time, and his family is something that Su Yun has sworn to protect with his life. I hope that Sword Ancestor will not be stingy and help this disciple. Do you want me to use this body to negotiate with the people of Supreme Sect? Sword Ancestor shook his head and said helplessly, "Disciple is willing to help Sword Ancestor and gather the scattered 3 souls and 7 spirits." Su Yun said seriously, "Although my soul is scattered, every strand of my soul contains a powerful and terrifying strength, and it is extremely easy to attract the attention of other spirit cultivators. They attempt to absorb my soul to increase their cultivation, or use my soul as a guide to refine pills and forge magic treasures. To them, my soul is a treasure, so in order to prevent my soul from being destroyed, my mind has started to protect itself. Right now, these souls are either sealed or hiding, so it will be very difficult for you to find them. If you are willing to follow me to find them, wouldn't it be very easy to find them? I can only provide you with information about their locations, but I can't provide you with any other information. First of all, I want to make it clear that my 3 spiritual souls and 7 physical souls contain everything about me, not just my cultivation. Therefore, the other souls don't know you yet. This wisp of my soul contains my calmness, while the other souls have arrogance, joy, excitement, and even bloodlust and arrogance. I'm afraid it won't be easy for these 2 souls to get close to you. If you're the slightest bit careless, your life might be in danger." The Sword Ancestor said. Hearing that, Su Yun was startled for a moment, then clenched his fists tightly and said resolutely, although Senior said that Su Yun will not give up, Father and Mother have left Su Yun for so many years, just to find my sister. All these years, my sister has suffered a lot. If I cannot save her safely, Su Yun is not worthy to be a son, and even more so not worthy to be a brother. My heart feels uneasy. These words made Sword Ancestor understand Su Yun's determination. He was silent for a moment, then asked, "Are you determined to find my soul? If everything goes well, there will be a day when we can get it back." The Sword Ancestor did not speak. Su Yun looked at him quietly, as though waiting for his decision. After an unknown period of time, the Sword Ancestor spoke. "Although you insist, I am indeed unable to help you right now. But you are a disciple of my sword sect, and you have already said that if I were to reject you again and again, it would seem like I am stingy. Su Yun, I will help you this time, but I have to make it clear first, I cannot guarantee that I will be able to fish your sister out of the Supreme Sect. The only thing I can do is to do my best." Hearing that, Su Yun was overjoyed and immediately said, "The fact that Sword Ancestor is willing to help is already a great fortune for Su Yun. Su Yun does not dare to ask for too much." "All right." The Sword Ancestor nodded his head, then released a bit of profound chi, cut out an egg-sized dark stone from the ground, and handed it over to Su Yun. The moment the dark stone was handed over to Su Yun, the profound chi in Sword Ancestor's palm immediately drilled into the stone, and the stone immediately released a layer of pale white light. If you're in trouble, you can inject your profound chi into the stone, and when your profound chi overflows, I will sense it and use this coordinate to find you. Although I'm currently just a strand of soul, but I'm still a genuine, limitless Sword Ancestor and can form a deterrent to the people of Supreme Sect." The Sword Ancestor said, "Other than that, if you want to save your sister from the Supreme Sect, you will need to use force to contend against them. The Supreme Sect is extremely special. They will not give anyone face and will not be afraid of anyone's deterrence. Either use tyrannical methods to kidnap your sister, or use the absolute strength to destroy the Supreme Sect to suppress them and make them bow their heads. But I personally think that the first choice is more realistic, and the second. Su Yun, these stones have my aura. You can take these stones and visit a few of my close friends. Tell them that you are my successor. I believe they will give me face and help you." The Sword Ancestor said. Hearing that, Su Yun nodded seriously. "Thank you, Sword Ancestor. This place can suppress my sword storm, and I am relatively safe here, so I won't attract those spirit cultivator with ulterior motives. It will be relatively peaceful and won't be that troublesome. In the future, when you have the strength to collect 3 souls and 7 spirits for me, come and find me. I believe that at that time, you will surprise me greatly." The Sword Ancestor said in a relaxed manner. The smile on his face was extremely warm. "Sword Ancestor, there will be a day like that. All right, hurry up and go." "Yes, Sword Ancestor." Su Yun bowed seriously and was about to leave, but after taking a few steps, Su Yun turned around and said, "Sword Ancestor, Disciple almost forgot to tell you, there are many strong existences outside the prison. They're trying to destroy the prison seal and enter the prison. Disciple is not sure if they are here for the treasures or for you. Sword Ancestor, do you need to avoid the limelight?" Su Yun was not sure of the strength of the few supreme expert-s, which was why he said that. Who knew that when the Sword Ancestor heard that, he would actually laugh out loud. "A few cats and dogs, what's there to be afraid of? Furthermore, it's not my turn to make a move. You guys have the key to enter here. The key cannot alarm the Realm Master, but if they forcefully break through the barrier, there will definitely be some movement from the Realm Tree. And when the experts of the Realm Tree come, none of those cats and dogs will be able to escape. You can rest assured, haha." Hearing that, Su Yun was relieved. He cupped his fists and left the prison. The Sword Ancestor's current state was special, and it was indeed not suitable for him to leave this place. Although he had friends all over the world, he also had many enemies. According to what he said, the Sword Chi Storm could still be contained under the seal of the previous Realm Lord and his deliberate restraint. However, if he left this place, the Sword Chi Storm would definitely be difficult to suppress. Once the Sword Chi Storm was produced, it would probably attract countless peak saint gods. Su Yun had asked the Sword Ancestor why he did not seek help from his close friends. However, the Sword Ancestor's answer made Su Yun extremely puzzled. The time was not right. These were the 4 words the Sword Ancestor gave him. Su Yun completely did not understand what was the time. Was it that the sword ancestor could leave, but was unwilling to leave? Or could it be that those friends did not have the time to help him? But no matter what, if he had the ability in the future, he would do this for the sword ancestor. Su Yun had received the favor of the Limitless Sword Sect and was also a member of the Sword Sect. After leaving the prison, Su Shintian and Shan Shueshue, who were outside, were already impatient. Seeing that Su Yun had come out safely, Shan Shueshue was immediately overjoyed and immediately ran over to hug Su Yun. Yun, are you all right? Let me take a good look at you. Shan Shushu anxiously looked at Su Yun from head to toe and even circled around him a few times. Seeing that Su Yun was safe and sound, she heaved a sigh of relief. Look at how scared your mother is. Su Shintian could not help but laugh. Shan Shueshue glared at him, and Su Shintian immediately stopped laughing. Su Yun's heart was warm, and he laughed. Mother, your child is fine. Don't worry. It's good that you're fine. It's good that you're fine. Shan Shueshue laughed. She then looked back, but did not see any trace of the supreme expert. So she asked, Where is that expert? Su Yun laughed. I'm really lucky this time. Father, mother, actually that supreme expert is the ancestor of my sect. Ancestor? The two of them were stunned. Yes, when I first left the Su family, I entered a sect called the Limitless Sword Sect. Although the sect is small, it is extremely important to me, and if not for the Limitless Sword Sect, there would not be today's Su Yun. However, the ancestor of the Sword Sect, the Limitless Sword Ancestor, went missing many years ago. This child never thought that I would meet him here. Su Yun laughed. Hearing that, Su Shantian was shocked and astonished. There's actually such a coincidence. Yunner, since that's the case, doesn't that mean that this supreme expert can help us save your sister? Shan Shueshu anxiously grabbed onto Su Yun and asked anxiously. I'm afraid that ancestor cannot help. Su Yun shook his head. Why? The two of them said in unison. Many years ago, ancestor offended the supreme expert and lost to him. Now, his soul has been scattered, and the one in this prison is only a wisp of his soul. Su Yun sighed. Hearing that, Shan Shueshue's excited expression immediately dimmed. What a pity. Yinner, could it be that this supreme expert is unable to help us? Su Shintian frowned and asked. That's right. Su Yun sighed. Ancestor has too many enemies, and in his current state, he is unable to leave this prison. So, father and mother, we can only think of another way. Since that's the case, there's nothing we can do. Su Shintian sighed and said helplessly. Shan Shushue's expression was downcast, as though she wanted to say something, but in the end, she did not say anything, her eyes filled with grief. After working so hard for so long, in the end, it was all for naught. It had to be said that it was too disappointing. Father, mother, you don't have to be too sad. Although Sword Ancestor is unable to help us directly, he has given me a keepsake. With this, we can ask for help from his friends, and I believe that Ancestor's friends are not ordinary people. Su Yun immediately said. Shin Shueshue nodded and forced out a smile. But at this time, bang! A violent sound suddenly rang out from outside the cave. Chapter 608. This voice. Su Shintian frowned. I'm afraid those supreme experts have made their move. A big move? Su Yun suddenly thought of the existences gathered at the entrance of the prison, and his face changed slightly. Could it be that the supreme experts were going to break through the prison and come in to snatch the treasure? So fast. Yunner, do you know how long you've been in there? Shan Shueshue shook his head. You've been in there for a full 10 days. If not for your father stopping me, I would have rushed in to look for you. 10 days? Su Yun was shocked. He thought it would be at most 2 hours. Rumble, 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 a dull sound rang out once again, and the prison continued to shake as if there was an earthquake. Su Yun did not dare hesitate. He turned his head and said anxiously, Father, mother, this place is not suitable to stay for long. Let's quickly leave this place. What are you afraid of? Su Shintian said calmly. If they want to enter, then so be it. If we don't take the treasure, then we won't be a threat to them. Later on, we will blend into the crowd and leave this place. Things are not as simple as they seem. Su Yun said anxiously in a low voice. Sword Ancestor said, once the enchantment is destroyed, the realm tree will immediately send a large number of troops to maintain it. Anyone who barges into the prison will be killed without mercy. Realm Tree Army? Su Shantian was slightly shocked. The people of the Realm Tree have always loved peace and have never killed. Why would they say that? Sword Ancestor told me that this Realm Lord is different from the previous Realm Lord. I'm afraid he won't be as friendly as before, Su Yun said. We heard the news about the Realm Lord from the Sword Ancestor's mouth. Su Yun was both shocked and astonished. He had never thought that the seemingly weak girl would actually have such a temperament. Hearing Su Yun's words, Su Shantian panicked, but he did not insist on staying here. There was no point in staying, so he nodded and said, since that's the case, then all right, let's leave now. With that said, the three of them quickly walked out. Su Yun's speed was extremely fast. He walked in front of the three of them, and when he approached the intersection, the limitless sword sheath was still quietly placed beside the wall. He immediately took it and hung it on his body. Yinner, what is this sword sheath of yours? Seeing Su Yun carrying the sword sheath again, Shun Shueshu asked, did Yinner take this sword box out of her interspatial bag? Why didn't he take out a space bag? For the sword. Su Yun laughed. Is that so? Shun Shueshu was confused. It seems like you're good at using the sword. Using the sword is good. A man should wield a 3-foot-long sword and slash the heavens and the earth. Su Shintan, who was at the side, could not help but nod. Su Yun smiled and did not say anything. When they neared the entrance of Nameless Prison, the frequency of the trembling became greater and greater, and wave after wave of all kinds of profound energy appeared in the air. There was demonic energy, devil energy, evil energy, profound energy, and so on. When they arrived at the entrance of the cave, they could see that the entrance of the cave was filled with a large amount of strange aura. These auras frantically attacked the seal at the entrance of the cave. The strength was very shocking. The incomparably thick seal was actually cracked by this aura, and bits of aura leaked out from the cracks. This is bad. Su Shintian's face changed slightly and immediately waved his hand. A golden light overflowed from his palm, enveloping the three of them. Su Yun realized that his hands and feet could no longer be seen, and upon closer inspection, he realized that his body had disappeared without a trace. Not only him, even Su Shintian and Shun Shueshue could not be seen. Father, Mother, what's going on? Su Yun exclaimed. Yinner, don't move. Your father has used the divine concealment technique. The three of us are currently in a state of invisibility. Shun Shueshue's serious whisper came into Su Yun's ears. Invisibility? Why are you using it now? Su Yun did not understand at all, but in the next second he understood. If he didn't use it now, it would be too late. For those supreme experts, there was no need to break through the prison. They only needed a crack. Seeing that a crack had appeared in the barrier, several supreme experts rushed over like a swarm of bees. They each used their own sacred arts and shrunk their bodies to the size of a grain of sand, directly entering through the crack. In the blink of an eye, 5 supreme experts with terrifying auras rushed into the prison. Su Yun was simply unable to determine the cultivation level of the 5 supreme experts. He only felt as if 5 gods were standing in front of him, and these existences were much higher than his own father. If he was discovered, he would definitely be killed without mercy. Su Yun's breathing became heavy, his eyes staring at the 5 supreme experts who were walking over. He felt as if his heart was in his throat. Most likely, Su Shintian and Shun Shueshu were the same. The three of them definitely could not contend against these 5 people. These supreme experts were very cautious. After entering this place, they were not in a hurry to search for treasures, but instead started to wander around. Dear monster, you said that someone might have entered this prison before. Where is he? A man wearing a purple cloak turned his head and shouted, Are you here to look for someone, or are you here to look for treasure? The deer-headed man coldly snorted, I already said that it's possible, and I can't be sure. If you want to take it seriously, then go look for them. Sai, you can't say that. If someone sneaks in and takes the treasure away, then we'll be the ones to lose. This prison is only this big. The door is sealed, and the outside is blocked by us. How could anyone sneak in? I think the deer monster is being paranoid, right? He's always been like this. The few of them laughed. You guys only know how to talk fast. The deer headman was furious. He ignored the group of fellows and directly rushed inside. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared. "Ha, you deer monster. Do you want to take all the treasures for yourself?" The purple-cloaked man shouted and also rushed over, disappearing in an instant. How could the others just watch as the two of them plunder the treasures? One by one, they crazily rushed inside. Very quickly, the cave entrance calmed down. Seeing that, Su Yun and the other two heaved a sigh of relief. The three of them waited for a while, then walked out from the shadows. These supreme experts are seizing the treasures. All of them are only interested in profit. Maybe there will be a fight inside. We can't stay here for long. Let's leave quickly. Su Shintian removed the spell and said in a deep voice, "All right, the supreme expert has already gone in. The ones outside are just small fries. Yunner, open the door and rush out." "All right." Su Yin took out the key and was about to walk towards the door and open it. But just as Su Yin was about to walk towards the door, several dark green lights shot towards him. Before Su Yin could even react, he had already closed in, and the bone-chilling killing intent drowned him like a wave. Su Yun's heart turned cold. He suddenly turned his head, only to see that the light was already right in front of him. At this moment, even if he took out the 7th-tier Imperial equipment, it would be too late. Clang! A golden shield suddenly appeared in front of Su Yun, blocking the light. It was his father. Su Yun looked over, only to see that Su Shintian had unknowingly activated the profound qi, blocking the attack for Su Yun. Su Shintian and Shan Shueshue looked towards the depths of the prison, only to see the 5 supreme experts that had rushed into the prison all walking out from the darkness. So there really was a cat or dog that snuck in. TSK, TSK, TSK. Dear monster, your judgment is really correct. The one who spoke was the purple-cloaked man. He raised his head and saw a terrifying skull under the cloak. Your senses are even stronger than my dog's nose. Ha! I almost let these guys run away. The dog-headed man laughed out loud, his face full of pride. So these guys were just putting on an act to lure us out. Su Yun said, "Ha! Do you really think we don't get along? Since we have teamed up to take the treasures here, we naturally trust each other. We're already here, so what's the point of scheming and scheming? However, if the rats sneak in, then that's another matter. If we aren't careful and the rats steal our treasures, then wouldn't we have wasted all our efforts?" The deer laughed strangely. The faces of Su Yun and the other two changed. "All right, enough with the nonsense. Hurry up and hand over the treasures you guys took from inside." The purple-cloaked man said in a deep voice, "We did not take the treasures inside. If everyone is here for the treasures, you can go ahead and take them." Su Shintian said, "You didn't take any treasures?" The dog-headed man spat and shouted, "If you didn't come here to take the treasures, then what are you doing here? A tour? Stop playing tricks. If you didn't take the treasures, why are you hiding and sneaking around? Hurry up and hand over the treasures, or else I'll make you guys suffer. We really don't have them. If you don't believe me, you can go inside and take a look. The treasures are still there." Shan Shueshue immediately said, but these people clearly did not believe him. The purple-cloaked man pulled out a pale, white-boned sword from his waist and walked straight towards Su Yun and the other two. "A group of weaklings, why waste words with them? Just kill them. If they really take the treasures, we just need to search their bodies." The cloaked man said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, the remaining 2 supreme experts had already rushed over. One of the supreme expert had long hair that hung down to his shoulders. His face was covered by his hair. He was tall and agile, and his chi was extremely ordinary. It was the swift wind spirit chi, but this chi was extremely terrifying. It was definitely not something an ordinary person could compare to. The other almighty was an old woman who was as thin as a match. She had not spoken, but when she attacked the 3 of them, she let out a horrifying and strange laugh. Her entire face was distorted, making her look like a ghost. Su Shantian immediately released his profound strength, creating a circle of qi around the three of them, wanting to protect Shun Shueshua and Su Yun, but just as his qi was formed, it was shattered by the long-haired man and the old woman. One person was probably enough to take care of the three of them, not to mention the 5 supreme expertess. Damn it. Su Yun held onto the key tightly, his heart hardened. He stuffed the key into Shun Shueshua's hands and anxiously shouted, "Mother, go and open the enchantment. Bring father away. I'll bring up the rear for you." "Yunner, quick!" Su Yun bellowed. He pulled out the death sword, planning to use all of the death sword's power to fight with this group of people. The three of them were at a disadvantage against these 5 tyrannical existences. The only thing they could do now was retreat. But at this moment, waves of cold snorts came from the depths of the prison. "A few ants! How dare you behave so atrociously here? Although this is a prison, it is also a place for me to stay. Did you get my permission to mess around here?" As the snort fell, a wave of sword intent filled the entire prison, instantly concealing the auras of the experts. Chapter 609. This aura? The purple-cloaked existence's voice trembled. "There seems to be someone inside. This is the nameless prison. It is said that there's an incredible supreme expert locked inside." "Could it be that supreme expert?" the dear monster exclaimed. "Who cares? So what if there's a supreme expert? Let's join hands and kill him, eat his body, swallow his soul, and increase our cultivation. Wouldn't that be better?" The dog-headed man roared. He was not afraid at all, and did not care about the sword intent, and directly rushed towards Su Yun. His mouth that was filled with steel teeth opened wide, and suddenly became several times larger. From the looks of it, he wanted to swallow Su Yun alive. However, just as the dog-headed man moved, thousands of qi swords suddenly flew out from the depths of the prison, piercing towards the dog-headed man like a torrent. All the qi swords seemed to have a life of their own, all landing on the dog-headed man's body, piercing through it. But when the qi swords were less than half an inch away from Su Yun, they stopped, as though everything was centered around the dog-headed man. The qi swords pierced through the dog-headed man, and immediately slashed. The rustling sounds of the swords could not be stopped, as though every qi sword was held tightly by a swordsman. In the blink of an eye, the dog-headed man was sliced into pieces and died. A cloud of blood exploded in the air, and pieces of flesh covered the ground. Each piece of flesh was not more than the size of a finger. Instant kill. The remaining 4 supreme experts were terrified. This was not an ordinary instant kill. They were well aware of the strength of the dog-headed man. It was definitely not a simple first or second stage Sky Spirit Master existence. Even Su Shintian was afraid of it. It was most likely that its strength was as high as the 8th stage. Clang, clang, clang. The sound of a large number of sharp swords rang out. The ground glowed, and countless qi swords pierced out from the ground. They stabbed into the ground in a crooked manner, transforming the pitch-black prison into a unique realm of swords. In the darkness, the sound of light and slow footsteps could be heard. The 4 supreme experts did not dare to move, their eyes wide open as they stared at the darkness in shock. Gradually, a slender white-haired man with a halo of light walked out. The man had a head full of snow-white hair, sword-like eyebrows, and starry eyes. The shape of his face was angular, and he was extremely handsome and heroic. His hands were behind his back, and he wore a green robe that didn't seem luxurious, but gave off the feeling of an otherworldly expert. That pair of sharp sword eyes swept across the 4 supreme beings, and his cold face revealed waves of killing intent. "Kneel," he shouted coldly. "Who are you?" The purple-cloaked man gathered his courage and said with a trembling voice, "Someone who can kill you." The sword ancestor said coldly. With a wave of his hand, the surrounding swords immediately flew over, and like several rays of light, they pierced through the purple-cloaked man. His profound qi was completely dispersed, and his body was torn apart like paper. Wherever the sword passed, it was destroyed, and he was unable to defend against the attack. The cloak of the purple-cloaked man was shredded into pieces, revealing his terrifying skeletal body. However, the moment his body appeared, it turned into pieces and scattered on the ground. His aura also vanished in a thin air. The purple-cloaked man was dead. The sound of the chi sword shuttling reverberated in the surrounding space. The space trembled, and circles of mysterious and profound patterns rippled back and forth. The entire prison seemed to no longer be a prison, but a mysterious space that belonged solely to the sword ancestor. How powerful was this power? Furthermore, what shocked Su Yun even more was that this was only a tenth of the sword ancestor's strength. The current him was merely a wisp of soul. Then what was sword ancestor's true strength? Su Yun thought. When the remaining three supreme beings saw the sword ancestor's ferocious methods, they were all scared out of their wits. Who could defeat such an existence? No one would have thought that the existence in the nameless prison would be so terrifying. How could these existences dare to stay here any longer? One by one, they turned their heads and ran, instantly turning into the size of a grain of sand and drilling into the crack. Seeing that the supreme being had left, the sword ancestor did not chase after them. He quietly stood in his original position and nodded at Su Yun. There are many troubles here. Su Yun, quickly leave. Hearing that, Su Yun regained his senses and immediately cupped his fists and bowed. Thank you, sword ancestor. Disciple will leave now. Su Shintian and Shun Shueshue were startled and only regained their senses after a while and anxiously bowed to sword ancestor. However, there were too many things going on here, so it was not advisable to stay for long. Su Yun, Su Shintian, and Shun Shueshue opened the door and rushed out at full speed. Sword ancestor looked at Su Yun, who was leaving. His eyes flashed, and then he turned and stepped into the darkness. When the door to the prison opened, the people outside rushed in like a tide. All sorts of shouts, screams, and curses could be heard nonstop. The people who were fast had just rushed into the prison when they were blasted to the ground by the spirit cultivator's profound technique. The slower people were not at peace either. Behind them were all deities, and in order to snatch the benefits, there were even people who started fighting, directly casting spells in this narrow space. Explosions rang out nonstop, and the scene was even more chaotic and explosive than 100 bombs exploding at the same time. The nameless prison trembled nonstop. The earth trembled as if the apocalypse had arrived. After Su Yun and his parents left the prison, they headed straight out of the dark place. At this moment, the dark space in the dark place was suddenly illuminated by an emerald green light. Wait! Su Shintian was the first to sense the incoming light, and immediately stopped Su Yun and Shun Shueshue. His brows twitched, and he pulled the two of them to the side to hide behind a large boulder. And at the same time, he released a circle of golden light, enveloping the three of them. With the appearance of the golden light, Su Yun realized that his chi was completely isolated from the chi outside the light. It seemed to be a concealment method. At this time, the sound of something tearing through the air could be heard from afar. Following that, countless men dressed in green armor or green robes could be seen flying over. All of them had serious expressions on their faces as they rushed towards the direction of the nameless prison. Before they even reached their destination, all of them had already taken out their weapons, and, from the looks of it, they had already decided to use force. This is the people of Realm Tree. Shun Shueshue was slightly shocked. They actually came so quickly. Although the nameless prison is set up in the dark place, it does not mean that the people of Realm Tree do not value it. After all, the one who sealed the supreme expert was the previous Realm Lord. Su Shintian said. Su Yun's gaze swept across the army that had rushed over from the Realm Tree. In such a short period of time, thousands of experts had already flown over, and from the looks of it, the Realm Tree had sent close to 10,000 people here. With so many experts, no one in the dark place could resist them. That woman didn't come? Su Yun was startled. He looked around but did not see any trace of the Realm Lord. Wanhua Realm, at the border of the Linglong Mountain. Beside that strange forest, beside the spring of corrosion that was filled with dried bones, a fox demon with a white tail and white ears was sitting cross-legged on the ground. She raised her slender hands and gently formed a hand seal. Her charming eyes were tightly closed, and her fair face was suffused with a tinge of red. Her long eyelashes were trembling slightly, and drops of fragrant sweat were dripping down from her forehead. The profound chi around her body was quickly becoming chaotic, like fireflies flying in the air, making her entire body look extremely beautiful. The beautiful and charming woman, the withered bones, and the putrid spring water formed a sharp contrast. The scene was extremely strange. After an unknown period of time, the fox demon slowly opened her bright eyes. Her tender little mouth exhaled a breath of hot air, and the corners of her mouth couldn't help but curl up. Big Brother's strength must be incomparably powerful now. My talent has actually increased again, and my cultivation speed has also increased by 1,000 miles. If this goes on, I'm afraid I'll be able to advance again. She raised her white hand and slightly activated her chi. A strand of golden luster danced on her white palm, and vaguely, one could see that there seemed to be a dragon spiraling within the golden light. With this divine object, True Dragon City, in the future, I will also be able to reach the peak and reach the great Tao of that world. The fox demon looked at the golden light in her hand, and a trace of intoxication appeared in the depths of her eyes. Whiz! At this moment, a light sound rang in his ears. The fox demon's exquisite fox ears moved, and she anxiously dispersed the golden light. She suddenly stood up and pulled out the wine-red curved blade from her waist and shouted, "Who is it? Don't be nervous." A soft and gentle voice entered her ears. The fox demon turned her head to look, only to see a woman dressed in green, dressed simply, but with an extremely beautiful appearance walking over. The woman was extremely beautiful, and it could be said that the fox demon felt ashamed of her inferiority when she saw her. Her beauty had already exceeded the beauty of her skin and flesh, but her beauty was a kind of temperament, and she was beautiful to the bones. If ordinary people were to talk about temperament, then the temperament of an ordinary beauty would be hovering around 10 points. But this woman's temperament had already exceeded this limit. The fox demon was unable to judge how high her temperament was, because she had never seen anyone with a better temperament than her. However, the fox demon believed that this pink skeleton would also be extremely beautiful. "You, who are you?" Looking at the woman who suddenly appeared in front of him, the fox demon asked vigilantly. "The owner of this place," the green-robed woman said softly. "The owner of this place?" The fox demon looked at the spring of corrosion in confusion, and then laughed. "It's just a useless spring water. It can't be used for cultivation, it can't be touched, and it can't even be used to train materials. Does this thing have an owner?" "I'm not talking about this spring of corrosion," the woman said indifferently. "I'm talking about the entire Wanhua realm." "Wanhua realm?" The fox demon was startled, then suddenly thought of something, and said in shock, "You are the realm master?" The green-robed woman nodded. "Realm master, but why are you here? And why are you looking for me?" The fox demon asked curiously, her eyes still maintaining a strong sense of suspicion, as though she still did not believe the person in front of her. But the woman did not want to waste words, and went straight to the point. "Let me ask you, have you ever killed a person called Xiao Huailin?" With that said, the fox demon's expression froze. She no longer doubted this person's identity. He still remembered that the person called himself Xiao Huailin. But when he killed him, there was no one around, but the woman in front of him knew. It was enough to show that she was definitely a realm master with great abilities. "That's right, I did kill him, but so what? This person has done many evil deeds, destroyed half of the Linglong Mountain, and broken the rules you set. He is a sinner of the Wanhua realm. I killed him and got rid of the evil for the Wanhua realm. You should reward me," the fox demon said with a glib tongue. But the lady could not help but shake her head. "Although you say that, but you have to understand, Xiao Huailin's identity is not ordinary. Once he dies in the Wanhua realm, it will only bring disaster to the people of the Wanhua realm. So, killing him is not a good thing." "Then what do you mean? Let him run amok in the Wanhua realm, kill the innocent, and do all sorts of evil? The fox demon opened her eyes wide, looked at the lady, and snorted, "Is this the style of your Wanhua realm? Lord Realm Master, when did you become so afraid of trouble? If word of this gets out, I'm afraid that the people of the other realms will say that your Wanhua realm is bullying the weak and afraid of the strong. Furthermore, I am thinking for the sake of the Wanhua realm. Do you want me to let Xiao Huailing continue?" Chapter 610. Hearing the fox demon's words, the realm master went silent for a moment. Although it was the fox demon who killed Xiao Huailing, when it came to her mouth, it became a righteous and selfless matter. It made people feel that everything the fox demon had done was for the sake of the Wanhua realm, and that she should be a great hero. However, the woman understood that these were just the fox demon's sophistry. "You are eloquent. I am not as good as you. I did not come here today to argue with you," the realm master said indifferently. "I came here to ask you, are you willing to sacrifice yourself for all spirits?" Hearing that, the fox demon's tender face suddenly turned pale, and her voice turned cold. "What do you mean? This is my respect for you." The woman said seriously, "All living things have spirits. All living things have feelings. This time you killed Xiao Huailing, causing the experts of the all-empty sect to attack the Wanhua realm, causing the lives of all living beings to be endangered. In order to prevent the lives of all living beings, I have to stand up and resist the all-empty sect, but every single soldier in the realm tree is a living being. Their lives cannot be paid for by you. So, in order to minimize the losses and prevent many people from losing their lives, I hope that you can stand up and take the initiative to admit your guilt to the all-empty sect. Let them give up and stop this man-made disaster." The woman spoke very seriously, and with every word she said, her gaze was fixed on the fox demon. The fox demon's ice-cold face slowly warmed up. From the initial coldness to anger, anger to extreme anger, and when her anger reached a point where she could not restrain her anger, she suddenly laughed out loud. "Ha ha! Is this your Wanhua realm? Ha 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 ha! This is too funny! This is too funny!" She laughed heartlessly and happily, as if she had heard the funniest joke in the world. The woman looked at her quietly and did not say anything else. The fox demon sat down on the green rock at the side, her soft and huge tail wagging as she looked at the woman with a face full of ridicule. "So, as the realm master, you personally came to find me, hoping that I can be your protective talisman, and let me extend my neck to the people of all empty sect and let them chop it off in order to quell their anger, right?" Her face was filled with ridicule, as if she was mocking the realm master, mocking the entire Wanhua realm. War is an undeserved disaster. If we can put an end to the war, it will be beneficial for everyone, the woman said, but before she could finish, she was interrupted by the fox demon. "But it's not good for me," the fox demon sneered. "Moreover, as the realm lord, your vision is so narrow. You really don't live up to your reputation." The woman fell silent again. Her bright eyes stared at the fox demon, but she heard the fox demon raise her fair and smooth thighs and snort. "Also, why do you have to sacrifice me? I am indebted to the people of your Wanhua realm, and you do not want to repay me, but instead want to repay me with enmity. Is this what you people of the Wanhua realm do?" "What do you mean? What do you mean? You still don't understand? How stupid. You must know that after Xiao Huailing entered the Wanhua realm, how many innocent people did he kill? How many sects did he destroy? How many tragedies did he create? And how many spirit beasts did he devour? You should know this better than me. And I, by killing Xiao Huailing, I have indirectly saved countless lives. If I do not make a move, then Xiao Huailing will only kill even more people, causing even more lives to lose their lives. So, I'm indebted to your Wanhua realm, and now you want to hand me over? Doesn't that mean you are a person who repaid kindness with enmity? The people of the Wanhua realm are heartless and unscrupulous?" The fox demon hugged her huge breasts that did not match her figure and sneered. The woman lowered her head and thought. After a long time, she shook her head gently. "I came here today just to persuade you I will not use force if you're truly willing to sacrifice yourself for the sake of the countless living beings in the Wanhua realm. That would be for the best, but if you are not willing, I will not force you." Seeing that she could not persuade him, the woman did not persist. She turned around, took a step in the air, and suddenly disappeared. Fox Demon stared at the place where the woman had disappeared for a long time. When she was sure that she had truly left, she heaved a sigh of relief, and the two fox ears on her head drooped down. Fortunately, this realm master is not here to use force. If she really wants to capture me back, even with the Dragon City, it would be very difficult for me to contend against her. Fox Demon wiped the sweat off her tender face and secretly whispered to herself, "But this Xiao Huailin is really despicable. He injured Big Brother, and now that he was killed by me, he even caused me such a big trouble. Seems like I can't stay in the Wanhua realm anymore. The realm master is still reasonable. The people from the all-empty sect will definitely not be reasonable." The fox demon's black eyes rolled around. Then it jumped off the rock and ran into the distance. After exiting the dark place, Su Yun, Su Shintian, and Shun Shueshua headed out of the Linglong Mountain. Now that the supreme expert is powerless to help us, in my opinion, the only thing we can do now is to look for Master. Maybe he has a way to save Luluo. Su Shintian said. Luluo? Su Yun frowned slightly. Your sister's name is Su Luluo. Shun Shueshua sighed. Oh. Su Yun nodded. However, he had always been curious in his heart. He had grown up in the Su family and had never seen or heard that he had a sister. Furthermore, his parents had always been in the Su family. So when did they give birth to him? Forget it. Let's not think about it. Su Yun shook his head, took out the stone sword ancestor gave him, and said, Father, Mother, why don't we go look for Sword Ancestor's close friends for now? Sword Ancestor is powerful. His friends are definitely not simple. Please don't. Su Shintan immediately shook his head. Unless it's absolutely necessary, don't casually look for Sword Ancestor's friends. Why? Sword Ancestor is indeed strong. But first you have to understand his soul has already been scattered, and it is unknown how long his soul has existed here. Do you know if those close friends will still remember his friendship? Can you be sure that they will help us on behalf of Sword Ancestor? Furthermore, once Sword Ancestor's enemies find out, I'm afraid that we will be in endless trouble. His close friends are strong, and his enemies are not weak either. Shun Shueshua said. Hearing that, Su Yun immediately understood. With Sword Ancestor's current appearance, it could be said that many people would not be able to find him, and the same was true for his enemies. If he went to look for his friends and family for help and was discovered by his enemies, he would definitely be in trouble. However, it was different to look for other people. They were not as missing as Sword Ancestor. Since that's the case, let's discuss this method in the future. But Father, Mother, who is the Grandmaster that you were talking about? Su Yun asked again. However, the two of them were silent for a while and did not answer in time. Shun Shueshua smiled slightly and said, He is a great sage that Father and Mother have entered the sect. It is natural that you do not know him. Originally, Father and Mother did not want to trouble him, but after so many years, we really have no choice but to ask him for help. Since that's the case, let's set off now, Su Yun said. Hearing that, Su Shintan anxiously said, Yunner, you can't go. Why? Su Yun asked in shock. There are many reasons. It's hard for Father to explain it to you. Su Shintian's words flickered. Hearing that, Su Yun was even more confused. Why can't I go? Father, you guys are going to save your sister. Can I, as your brother, do something about it? Yunner, you don't understand our difficulties, and you don't understand the cause and effect of the matter, so it's better if you don't go. Furthermore, although you have the cultivation of the third stage of Sky Spirit Master, I'm afraid that the weakest we have to deal with is not lower than the Spirit Emperor. That kind of battle is too fierce. If you go, not only will it be difficult for you to help us, your father and I will have to take care of you, and it will only be troublesome. Just then, Shun Shueshua persuaded. Hearing that, Su Yun's brows twitched, but he did not say anything. He looked at the two elders, and in the end, nodded his head and said, Since that's the case, then all right, I won't go. Seeing that, Shun Shueshua pulled Su Yun's hand and laughed. Yunner, don't worry. Father and Mother will definitely save your sister. At that time, we will reunite as a family, okay? Yes. Su Yun nodded, but there was no smile on his face. Su Shantian, who had a serious face the entire time, said, "All right, shwe shwe. It's getting late. Let's hurry up and head to Master's place. Husband, don't be anxious. Wait for me and Yunner to talk for a while." Shan Shueshua laughed, then pulled Su Yun's hand and walked to the side, as though he was purposely avoiding Su Shintan. This made Su Shantian unhappy, but he was not angry, and only turned his head to look into the distance. Seeing that, Shan Shueshua secretly laughed. "Mother, is there anything else?" Su Yun asked. Shan Shueshua took out a golden blue jade tablet from somewhere and placed it in Su Yun's palm. There were no words on the jade tablet, only a circular pattern. It could not be said to be exquisite, but the aura of the jade tablet was extremely exquisite. Su Yun had never felt such a miraculous aura before. "Yunner, Mother knows that you can't bear to part with father and mother, and also knows that you have suffered a lot to search for mother and father all these years. This is our fault. If we had left behind a way to contact you when we left, perhaps you wouldn't have suffered so much. Your father has a lot of face, and actually, he feels very guilty towards you, but he can't say it out loud, so don't take it to heart. Okay?" Shin Shueshua said in a sincere tone. Hearing that, Su Yun shook his head. "Mother, you don't have to say all this. I understand in my heart. Everything that father and mother have done is no different from what I have done. It's good that you can think that way." Shan Shueshua smiled in gratification and said, "Take this jade tablet well. If you want to find me and your father, then open the jade stone in the center of this medallion. And when the jade stone is opened, it will release divine power, and I will receive it immediately. At that time, I will go find you, understand? Your child understands." Su Yun nodded and kept the jade tablet, but a few knots appeared in his heart, because from start to finish, Su Shintian and Shan Shueshua did not tell him where they were going. Chapter 611. Su Yun did not blame Su Shintian and Shan Shueshua. He knew that the two of them were doing it for his own good, and there were some things that the more one knew, the better. Since his parents had already decided to settle it himself, it was not convenient for him to ask too much. Although he had countless worries in his heart, at that moment, there was nothing he could do. He was already at the third stage of the Sky Spirit Master, but this matter was difficult even for his parents at the seventh stage of the Sky Spirit Master, let alone him. However, since his parents were safe and sound, Su Yun was naturally extremely happy and did not dare to ask for too much. He planned to leave the ultimate martial world to find Qing'er, but before he left, there was one more thing he needed to do. Su Yun quickly walked towards the dark place. His pace was extremely fast, and he was in a hurry. It was still the same dark but lively cave entrance. After entering, his line of sight changed from a bright world to a dark area. After landing on the ground, a large number of demon and evil people surged in from all directions, all asking Su Yun which realm he planned to go to. Su Yun looked at the group of evil demons around him and did not bother with them. He pulled on his cloak and left. The surrounding existences all left in disappointment. After he left, Su Yun returned. He found a demon with the weakest cultivation among them and pulled him over. Hey, what are you doing?" When the demon saw that someone was pulling his arm, he was immediately shocked. The black and green demonic chi around his body started to tremble. He was only at the 10th grade of Spirit Master and was considered the weakest among these existences that charged fees to bring people into the realm. However, he was not suppressed or ostracized here, and there were even some existences that respected him. It could be seen that his true ability was far from this. "There's a deal. Do you want to do it?" Su Yun secretly looked around at the people who were looking at him and said softly. Hearing that, the demon became suspicious. "What deal? Help me find something. After you find it, I'll pay you profound coin. There are so many people here. Can't you find someone else?" The demon asked curiously. "I feel that you are reliable." Su Yun raised his head and said. Under the hood, his pale face was revealed. The demon's entire body trembled, but he understood what Su Yun meant and nodded. I will be back in half a day. The price of each item is 1 million. If you think it's too little, I can only choose another seller. I hope that you can wait for me here with the item." After Su Yun told the spirit demon about the two ingredients, he immediately left. These two materials were called Withering Heartstone and Yellow Springs Wax, and were treasures that could only be produced in a special place like the Dark Place. It was extremely difficult to obtain them outside, and very few people used them as materials, so the price would not be too outrageous. When the demon heard this, he did not hesitate and immediately went to collect them. Su Yun, on the other hand, walked towards the small river where the old man from the realm tree had appeared before. Halfway there, the sword's scabbard glowed, and a white-clothed woman with a plain face appeared. It was Ling Qingyu. "This time you are rich. There are a total of 790 million profound coin inside. Although there are no magic treasure, but there are countless materials. You can take the Withering Heartstone and the Yellow Springs Wax. The rest can be replaced with the materials obtained from the treasure trove. It is enough to repair the Lotus Star Sword." Ling Qingyu walked shoulder to shoulder with Su Yun and laughed. "With so many treasures, I wonder who placed them here." Su Yun sighed. "Wasn't it placed by the person who was imprisoned in the prison?" Ling Qingyu asked curiously. Hearing her say that, Su Yun suddenly thought of something, and immediately said, "Of course not. Qingyu, I forgot to tell you, the existence imprisoned in the nameless prison is the Sword Ancestor." "What?" Ling Qingyu's eyes immediately widened. She grabbed onto Su Yun's arm and shouted in shock. "The person in the nameless prison is the Sword Ancestor. It's the Sword Ancestor, but because of a series of things, I was so busy that I forgot to tell you." Sorry. Qingyu, do you want to go see the Sword Ancestor?" Hearing that, Ling Qingyu's excited face suddenly darkened. She released Su Yun's arm and tilted her head. As if she had thought of something, she sighed and shook her head. "Forget it. Even if I see him, there's nothing to say. I remember you once said that the Sword Ancestor was your savior. And in order to repay the Sword Ancestor, you turned into a sword and landed in the sword sheath. But why are you unwilling to see him now?" Su Yun did not understand. "There are too many reasons for this. You won't understand even if I tell you." Ling Qingyu rolled her eyes at him. Su Yun laughed and did not ask anymore. Since Ling Qingyu was unwilling to say, asking any further would only be asking for trouble. But the relationship between the two should not be too stiff. If not, Ling Qingyu would not have turned into a sword and attached herself to the sword sheath. The two of them continued forward. Not long after, they arrived at the river. Su Yun looked around, looking for the old man's figure, and very quickly he saw two people standing on the left side of the river. One of them was a man dressed in tight black clothes, and the other was a skinny old man. The man and the old man were talking about something, and very quickly, the man nodded and turned to leave. It seemed like the two of them were in the middle of a transaction. After the man left, Su Yun walked over. When the old man saw who it was, his face changed, and he said, "Brat, what are you doing here again? Ask me something." Su Yun said, "This time, there's a fee." The old man rubbed his fingers together without any hesitation. "Don't worry, I brought enough money this time. If you answer what I want to know, I will give you a suitable price." Su Yun snapped his fingers, causing Ling Qingyu, who was at the side, to be startled. Only then did she understand. She took out a few profound coin cards from somewhere and handed them over to Su Yun. "Oh, you're rich? You took that treasure?" The old man looked at the profound coin card and laughed. "If you ask me a question, you'll have to pay for it." All right. I won't be glib with you anymore. Tell me, what do you want to know?" The old man waved his hand and said impatiently. Su Yun was silent for a moment. He took a deep breath and then asked softly, "I want to know where my father, Su Shintian, and my mother, Shan Shueshua, are from." "Su Shintian? Shan Shueshua? Do you have a birth date?" Su Yun thought for a while, then shook his head helplessly. "No, my parents never told me about their birth date." "Is there any hair on them?" "How is that possible?" All right. Since that's the case, I can only use that move." The old man chuckled. He hooked his hand at Su Yun, then squatted down, took off the bell from his waist, placed it on the ground, placed one hand on the bell, and started chanting. Ling Qingyu curiously watched the old man cast the spell, as if she was interested. After chanting for a while, the old man stopped his incantation and said, "Give me your hand." Su Yun did as he was told, and extended his hand onto the bell. With lightning speed, the old man released a thread of profound qi and pierced towards Su Yun's finger. A small hole immediately appeared on his finger, and fresh blood flowed out. Seeing that, Su Yun was shocked. Every part of his body was protected by the profound qi, and it would be difficult for him to break through it easily. However, this old man was able to easily damage his own flesh and blood, which was enough to show that his cultivation was extraordinary. Fresh blood dripped down and landed on the bell. The bell immediately emitted waves of red light and trembled violently. A terrifying and ear-piercing scream came out from within the bell. Su Yun and Ling Qingyu covered their ears, feeling as if the scream was tearing their souls apart, causing them extreme pain. However, the old man was not afraid at all. Instead, he bent down and placed his ear on the bell to listen for a moment, then raised his head and smiled. "Your father and mother gave birth to you. The blood in your body is connected to them. Using this move, you will definitely know everything you want to know." "Is there a result?" Su Yun asked anxiously. "Of course." "What is it?" "Hee 10 million profound coins." The old man shamelessly rubbed his fingers again. Su Yun immediately took out 10 million profound coins from his profound coin card and piled them beside the old man. Seeing that, the old man quickly kept the profound coins and then said, "Your father and mother are both from the Sky Martial Continent and were born in the Su family of the southern continent of the Sky Martial Continent. Your father was born and raised in the Su family, and your mother was a refugee who escaped to the Julian district and later married into the Su family. She was originally from the Great Cyan district." Hearing that, Su Yun frowned. That's not right. If what the old man said was true, then how could father and mother have such strength? Who was the Grand Master that they were talking about? What sect did they enter in the past? Su Yun was still full of questions and asked again, "Please tell me, what sect did my parents enter?" "Hey kid, can't you ask me something that I know? This kind of thing that I don't even know, I have to use a technique to calculate, and every time I use it, I have to rest for 5 days. If you ask me like that, I can't answer you." The old man shook his head. "Su Yun, why are you asking these questions?" Ling Qingyu asked curiously. "I feel that I don't understand my parents anymore. They seem to have a lot of things to hide from me, so it's not convenient for me to open my mouth. I want to help them, so I ask like this." Su Yun sighed. "Actually, it doesn't matter if you ask or not. Since they're your parents, they will naturally think for you. Even if you do this, it will be useless. Their cultivation is not lower than yours, so you don't have to worry." Ling Qingyu saw that Su Yun's expression was a little down and consoled him. Su Yun nodded his head. After a moment of silence, he spoke again. "Old man, let me ask you one last question. I hope you can answer this one. Speak." If this old man doesn't know, then you'll have to wait 5 days. The old man said, 5 days is 5 days. Su Yun said, "Please tell me, how can I bring him out of the Supreme Sect?" Hearing that, the old man was startled, then asked anxiously, What door did you say?" "Supreme Sect." Su Yun repeated it seriously. With that said, the old man's wretched expression immediately disappeared without a trace, replaced by helplessness and heaviness. After a long while, he shook his head and sighed heavily. "Difficult. It's difficult." Chapter 612. Hearing the old man's words, Su Yun's face did not look good. He knew it was difficult, but he did not understand how difficult it was. His parents had been working hard to save his sister from the Supreme Sect for so many years, but after so many years, they still did not succeed. It could be seen that the difficulty was beyond the understanding of ordinary people. "Who do you want to save from the Supreme Sect?" The old man was not in a hurry to answer Su Yun's question, but asked instead, "My sister. How long has she been in the Supreme Sect?" Su Yun shook his head. "I don't know." "Then do you know what kind of sect the Supreme Sect is?" The old man asked again. Su Yun still shook his head. "I don't know." "You don't know anything, and you still want to fish someone out from there? This is simply wishful thinking." The old man shook his head and squinted his eyes, as if he was saying that Su Yun was too naive. Hearing the old man's words, Su Yun became even more curious about the Supreme Sect. He cupped his fists and bowed, his attitude becoming serious. "Senior, please tell me in detail, what kind of sect is this Supreme Sect?" Hey, you don't have to be so polite to me. You'll have to pay me for any questions you ask." The old man chuckled. "You smelly old man. Why are you always talking about money? You're covered in the stench of money. How annoying." Ling Qingyu snorted angrily. The old man glanced at her, but could not be bothered with her. In his eyes, only money was practical. "I will pay the money as usual. Senior, just tell me," Su Yun said without a care. When the old man heard this, he immediately chuckled and spoke. "The Supreme Sect is a very special sect. To what extent is it special? A large realm is almost the location of this sect. There are no other countries, sects, or other powers. The entire realm is filled with people from this sect. Can you imagine how big this sect is? The Supreme Sect is like a bottomless well. Anyone who enters the Supreme Sect almost exclusively belongs to the people of the Supreme Sect. Everything in the world has nothing to do with them. Their family, friends, benefactors, enemies, and so on are all forgotten by them. They will no longer chase after fame and fortune. They will no longer chase after the myriad of cultivation techniques in the world. Those miraculous pills, the immortal God realm. In their hearts, there was only one path, and that was the path that belonged exclusively to the Supreme Sect. Of course, this is not because they are willing to forget it, but because it is related to a mysterious, profound qi that the Supreme Sect cultivates. The reason why the Supreme Sect is like this is because the people of the Supreme Sect specialize in cultivating a type of mystical profound qi. As long as they have this profound qi to protect themselves, the Supreme Sect can be said to be invincible in the world. And this profound qi is the limitless profound qi that is known as the Supreme Profound Qi by the people of the world. The Supreme Sect relies on this profound qi to stand at the peak of the world. It is just that the power of this profound qi is incomparably vast, but I have heard from others that cultivating this profound qi is extremely easy to cause a person to lose their temperament, lose themselves, their body to collapse, and their soul to scatter. The higher the profound qi's cultivation, the stronger the possibility. There are countless people who have joined the Supreme Sect for this profound qi, but almost every year, there will be countless people who will die under this terrifying profound qi. The reason why your parents are so anxious to save your sister is also because they want to protect your sister's life and not let her be killed by this profound qi. So, it's like this. Su Yun's face was extremely ugly. How could he have imagined that there was such a strange sect in this world? This was no different from a cult. Why would such a sect that goes against humanity still exist in this world? This kind of sect should have been annihilated a long time ago. Ling Qingyu said somewhat angrily. That's right. The old man nodded his head. Some people were bewitched and entered the Supreme Sect, but in the end, an accident happened during their cultivation. Their bodies were destroyed, their souls were scattered, and they completely died. When the relatives and friends of these people received the news, they were naturally furious and requested for justice from the Supreme Sect. But the Supreme Sect never cared, so they were attacked by a large number of sects and powers. But all of these sects and powers that attacked the Supreme Sect, without exception, were all destroyed by the Supreme Sect. Saying that, the old man sighed and shook his head. Do you not know the reason why so many people willingly joined the Supreme Sect? That was precisely because of the power of the limitless profound qi. The current mainstream profound qi attribute, or the unorthodox and special profound qi attribute, in front of the limitless profound qi, was like a grain of sand in Mount Tai, a firefly, and a bright moon. Which one of the strongest existences in the Supreme Sect did not break the continent with a wave of their hands and decide the life and death of the world? They are practically the gods of this world, such powerful existences, although cultivating is dangerous, but they do not cultivate for a long time. Maybe they only need to spend the time of an ordinary spirit cultivator to cultivate to the Sky Spirit Master, and they will be able to reach the strength of the Spirit Emperor. How can they not be jealous? This profound qi is actually this powerful. Su Yun was also shocked after hearing that. However, although they are able to cultivate the limitless profound qi to an extremely strong cultivation in a very short period of time, they're also constantly accompanied by huge risks in their cultivation. The limitless profound qi is like this. The higher the level of cultivation, the higher the possibility of the body collapsing and the soul dissipating. Since that's the case, then why do the experts of the Supreme sect continue to cultivate? Are they not afraid of death? Su Yun immediately asked. The old man shook his head. Of course not. Didn't I say it before? The reason why they joined the Supreme sect before was to cultivate the limitless profound qi, increase their own strength, and make themselves stronger. However, after these people joined the Supreme sect, they were affected by the limitless profound qi and the unique cultivation methods in the Supreme sect, and slowly lost themselves, slowly abandoning everything. In their hearts, they no longer persisted in cultivating the Supreme Divine Tao, and in order to step into the realm of the Supreme Divine Tao, everyone in the Supreme sect, regardless of whether it was the people who had just entered the sect or the pillars of the sect, would desperately cultivate this technique until they died. In fact, every year, a large number of spirit cultivators would die miserably, and the people of the Supreme sect would all die in the end, and they would all die at the hands of the limitless profound qi. Their average lifespan is much lower than ordinary spirit cultivators, and their way of dying is also extremely miserable, causing people to tremble in fear. Hearing that, Su Yun and Ling Qingyu were both shocked inside. What kind of strange, profound qi was it to be able to make people so intoxicated and addicted to it? No wonder father and mother insisted on saving my sister. If she were to continue staying in this sect, something would definitely happen to her. I'm afraid that father and mother did not allow me to participate because they were worried that I would be bewitched by the Supreme sect. That's right. The old man nodded his head. In this world, the most tempting thing is cultivation. With cultivation, you can have everything, and in the hearts of the people of Supreme sect, what they are most infatuated with is the Supreme Divine Tao. The biggest problem in saving someone from the Supreme sect is not the power of the Supreme sect, but whether or not this person is willing to leave. Many people hope to save their close friends and family from the Supreme sect, but there is nothing they can do. If they don't want to leave, what else can they do? When the old man finished speaking, Su Yun fell into deep thought. His parents had worked hard for so many years, but they were still unable to save his sister. This was not because his parents were incapable, but because it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Senior, do you have a way? Su Yun took a deep breath and asked seriously, Save him from the Supreme sect? The old man's bean-sized eyes slanted, and he said, I think you should give up. Senior, is there no other way? Tisich, this old man is very capable. Although my cultivation is not as strong as that of the Supreme sect, it does not mean that I do not have any tricks up my sleeves. The old man's fingers began to tap on the skull staff again. Hearing that, Su Yun was immediately overjoyed and immediately said, Senior, please teach me. Collect the money. The old man began to rub his fingers again and chuckled. Money is not a problem. Su Yun patted his chest and said heroically, Hee, let me tell you, to save someone from the Supreme sect, up until now, not many people have been able to do it, but I suggest that you do this and directly snatch it, and use force to snatch it back. And after snatching it back, use magic to search for the other party's memories, although it will cause the other party to lose their memories. But it is still better than letting the other party continue to stay in the Supreme sect, and in the end, their souls will be destroyed and their bodies will be destroyed. Although he would lose his memories, there was nothing he could do about it. Su Yun sighed. But Senior, you also said that the Supreme sect is strong. How can I forcefully seize it? The other party was a sect, and a super sect at that. The size of this sect had overturned all of his previous knowledge. What could he do against such a powerful existence? If the other party was alone, he might still have a chance. Kid, don't be too dejected. People must have confidence. If they don't even have confidence, then what else can they do? Let me tell you, this limitless profound chi is actually not absolutely invincible. There's actually a divine treasure in this world that can break it. If you can obtain this divine treasure, the people of the Supreme Sect should not be considered absolute existences in front of you. But it is not easy to obtain this divine treasure. In the past, there were many people who hoped to obtain this divine treasure and destroy the Supreme Sect, but none of them succeeded. Su Yin frowned. What is this thing? It's called the Clear Sky Holy Robe. Before the Hao Yin Emperor fell, he used his own blood essence to refine it. The Hao Yin Emperor wanted to use this holy robe to protect his own corpse and seal the profound strength in his body, so that he could reincarnate back into his old body and inherit his divine power. However, the holy robe was stolen. The Hao Yin Emperor completely disappeared, and the whereabouts of this holy robe were unknown. It was said that it had appeared in the sword world before. If you're willing to pay me another 20 million profound coin, I can calculate the location of this holy robe for you. But this location is not very accurate. As long as it is a divine object, it will have divine power. After I use this forbidden technique, it will be affected by the divine power of the divine object, and thus deviate. How about it? Kid, do you want to know the location of the saint robe? The old man chuckled. Chapter 613. Inside the tranquil gigantic gourd, a realm master dressed in green with black hair sat quietly on a vine seat. Below were hundreds of important realm tree officials. Prime Minister Rongmyuk was currently cupping his fists and bowing as he spoke. It is reported that the all-empty sect has already joined forces with the experts of the sword-seeking sect, Luotong sect, and the Star Sword Pavilion to construct a realm-crossing bridge in order to forcefully cross the border and enter my Wanhua realm. This subordinate predicts that they will arrive at the Wanhua realm's gate of nature in 7 days. As soon as he finished speaking, the officials began to stir. They actually joined forces with 4 big sects to deal with our Wanhua realm. What are the people from All Empty sect trying to do? Is this pressure on us? Although our Wanhua realm can't compare to the sword world, we are still an independent realm. There are just a few sects. Could it be that they want to destroy our Wanhua realm? Realm Master, although our Wanhua realm advocates peace, we cannot use words to maintain peace. This way, it will only make others feel that our Wanhua realm is easy to bully. A middle-aged woman stood out, cupped her fists, and said, Realm Master, do you still remember why we issued a ban forbidding people from other realms from entering the Wanhua realm? It is precisely because after they entered the realm, they wantonly destroyed and ignored the laws, causing indelible scars to our Wanhua realm. But what was the root cause of this? It is precisely because the people of the other realms think that the people of our Wanhua realm will not easily kill, that even if they violate the law, they can still get away with it, which is why we are in such a situation today. Realm Master, I think that we should organize an even stronger army to expel the people from the outside world. There is no need for a place like the Linglong Mountain. As soon as he said this, a group of people immediately echoed him. Lord Liu is right. If we continue, those arrogant people will only become more arrogant. We have to show them some tricks and make an example of them. The crowd was excited. Realm Master did not say a word. Seeing that, Rongmyuk shook his head. Lord Liu's words are too serious. Once we do this, our Wanhua realm will lose its foundation. Does the Prime Minister still have any concerns? The woman called Lord Liu asked. Of course, Rongmyuk said indifferently. According to reports, the True Devil Realm has already received the news that the All-Empty sect is attacking our Wanhua realm. Although the True Devil Realm did not make a move, I am very worried that they will interfere at this time. I think that it would be best if we could not fight with the All-Empty sect. Otherwise, once the two sides start fighting, it would be uncontrollable. True Devil Realm. Lord Liu gritted his teeth and said angrily, This bunch of bastards, only seeking profit. They're all despicable people. If I had divine powers, I would definitely exterminate them. True Devil Realm is not filled with evil people. The ones who are harassing my Wanhua realm are just a few of the evil forces. If the True Devil Realm has any movements, why can't we ask for some external help? After all, these evil people are public enemies. An old man stood up and said, "That's right. We can also invite some sects and powers to deal with the people of all empty sect. Lord Lu, we cannot touch the people of Linglong Mountain. Who knows? We might have to rely on the various sects and clans in Linglong Mountain for this matter. Will they help? Those are all outsiders. They only care about themselves." Lord Lu said coldly, "You can't say it like that. Now that they're also living in the Wanhua realm, they're already on the same boat. Now that the Wanhua realm is in danger, how can they just stand by and watch? That's what you say, but the human heart is unpredictable." The group of officials argued, and their opinions were endless. Even Rong Myuk would interject from time to time, causing the scene to be extremely noisy. However, after discussing for a long time, they still could not come up with a suitable decision. It was truly worrisome. However, the Realm Master was still sitting calmly on the fishing platform, quietly looking at the officials below. She did not speak, nor did she have any expression, as if she was thinking about something, causing others to be unable to guess what she was thinking. Report. Just then, a soldier dressed in green armor rushed in from the gourd. The soldier looked flustered. He quickly rushed over and knelt in front of the Realm Master. "What is it?" The Realm Master finally spoke. Her voice was clear and melodious, giving the noisy gourd a voice that was as clear as a spring. However, what the soldier said next made no one in the mood to appreciate his pleasant voice. Reporting to Realm Master, there is news from the Sword World that the Cloud Heavenly Palace is involved in this matter. The 13th Elder of the Heavenly Palace, Jean Maluo, has brought a total of 9,000 experts and disciples of the Heavenly Palace to the place where the All-Empty sect is setting up the bridge. The soldier shouted with a trembling voice. Almost as soon as he opened his mouth, the entire audience quieted down. After the news was reported, the entire audience was still terrifyingly quiet. It was as if a strand of hair would make a loud sound when it landed on the ground. Everyone stared at the soldier in a daze for a long time. It was difficult to recover from his shock. Cloud Heavenly Palace? The middle-aged woman called Lord Lu's mouth was knotted as she shouted in a trembling voice, "You're talking about? Is it really Cloud Heavenly Palace?" "Yes." The soldier's face was deathly pale, and his voice was trembling. This subordinate did not believe it first, and asked again and again. That brother said that he stared at it for a full hour, and was sure that it was indeed someone from Cloud Heavenly Palace. Everyone was shocked. "This time, this is bad. I never thought that the people from Cloud Heavenly Palace would actually interfere in this matter. Realm Master, what should we do now?" Cries of alarm rang out continuously. At this moment, not many people were talking about resisting anymore. Instead, they were all panicking. It could be seen how powerful Cloud Heavenly Palace was. All-Empty sect leader, Xiao Chongtian's wife, is called Phoenix Lady, and it is said that she came from this Cloud Heavenly Palace. And this 13th elder is called Jean Maluo. Could it be that this Phoenix Lady has some sort of relationship with Jean Maluo? Rong Myuk said solemnly. Xiao Huailin is Phoenix Lady's son. It is not surprising that Cloud Heavenly Palace would make a move. Following the soldier's report, the boiling gourd cavern gradually quietened down. Everyone was silent, their heads lowered, as if they were thinking about something. The atmosphere was extremely strange and tense, and an uneasy feeling surrounded everyone. "Realm Master, if we have Cloud Heavenly Palace's help, I'm afraid it will be extremely difficult for us to contend against him." Rong Myuk cupped his fists. Cloud Heavenly Palace is also famous in the Sword World. No one can compete with him. With the involvement of this sect, I'm afraid the nature will be different. Prime Minister, what do you think we should do? Realm Master looked at Rong Myuk and spoke softly. Rong Myuk bit his lower lip and said, "If it was only the All-Empty sect and the other powers that had interfered previously, there was a high possibility that we could have argued, and even a battle with them was not without confidence. But now that the Cloud Heavenly Palace has interfered, the nature of the battle has changed. We argue. No fight? Even more so, now that things have come to this, there is only one way." Speaking till here, Rong Myuk stopped talking. Realm Master looked at him and said indifferently, "You mean to compromise with them?" Other than that, it's hard to avoid swords and weapons. Romyuk said, but if that's the case, then we have to hand over the person who killed Xiao Huailin. Realm Master said softly, this is extremely unfair to her. Everyone knows what Xiao Huailin has done in my Wanhua realm. She killed Xiao Huailin, but in reality, she stopped him from doing whatever he wanted and protected the peace of the Wanhua realm. But if we do not hand her over, the Wanhua realm will not be at peace. Romyuk sighed. Realm Master was silent again. After a long while, she raised her head and said indifferently, you guys can leave first this matter. Let me think about it. Seeing that, everyone looked at each other in dismay. In the end, they cupped their fists and bowed before retreating. The group of people left the mouth of the gourd while whispering to each other. However, it was clear that everyone still had worried and nervous expressions on their faces. The arrival of the Cloud Heavenly Palace was like a blow to the head, making them feel extremely uncomfortable. Master Romyuk, what should we do now? Looking at the Realm Master, it seemed like she did not plan to hand over the murderer who killed Xiao Huailin. If that's the case, wouldn't our Wanhua realm suffer a great calamity? An important official quickly walked over and said to Romyuk worriedly. However, Romyuk could not help but shake his head and said indifferently, Realm Master will have his own plans. Everyone, do not worry too much. With that, he ignored the Realm Tree officials and quickly walked away with his head lowered. When the group of ministers saw this, they were puzzled. As for the important official, he was even more helpless. From the looks of it, Master Romyuk also supports the Realm Master and does not want to hand over the murderer who killed Xiao Huailin. The people at the side looked at Romyuk, who was walking further and further away, and said indifferently, if we hand it over, our Wanhua realm's reputation might not be preserved. But if we do not hand it over, the one who will not be able to protect is our Wanhua realm. Compared to the Wanhua realm, what is so important about a mere reputation? At this point, arguing about this is useless. We will definitely not be able to beat them, but if the Realm Master is not willing to compromise, what else can we do? Once the war starts, we will definitely not be a match for the people of Cloud Heavenly Palace. I'm afraid that when the time comes, there will be a lot less of us here. Little? If the other party is angry, I'm afraid we will all be killed by the people of Cloud Heavenly Palace. Sai, what should we do? The group of people gathered together, discussing and sighing. Helpless voices rose and fell one after another. Hey, everyone, since the Realm Master is not willing to compromise, why don't we compromise? How about it? At this moment, a man with a crew cut and a scar at the corner of his eye said in a low voice. Everyone looked towards the source of the voice and realized that the person who spoke was the newly appointed Realm Tree Imperial Guard Captain, Zhugu. The Imperial Guard Captain was the person in charge of the defensive forces around the Realm Tree. The previous Imperial Guard Captain had died due to an accident during a mission, and Zhugu had taken over. Zhugu had been transferred from elsewhere, so no one was familiar with him. However, at this juncture, Zhugu's words had shocked everyone. Compromise? Zhugu, what do you want to do? Lord Lu said coldly, as if he was disgusted by this person. Zhugu smiled slightly. My lords, I know that all of you are thinking for the Wanhua realm, and do not wish for the Wanhua realm to start a war with the other powers. Since this matter can be avoided, why can't we avoid it? Don't you know why the Realm Master is unwilling to accept Prime Minister Romyuk's compromise? The reason is actually very simple. She just can't let go of her face. She is afraid that the people of the other realms will criticize her, so she doesn't agree. But what if we bear this infamy? When Zhugu's words fell, everyone was stunned. Very quickly, everyone understood what Zhugu meant. Chapter 614. After bidding farewell to the old man and obtaining the two materials to repair the Lotus Star sword at the entrance, Su Yun left the dark place. Ling Qingyu was not in a hurry to return to the sword sheath, but followed Su Yun. Su Yun was not in a hurry to leave the Linglong Mountain. He still had two things to do. The first was to return to the Lotus Star Sword sect and use the materials from the treasure deposit to repair the Lotus Star Sword. And the second was to receive Ling Qingyu's guidance and practice the Burning Heaven Sword formation. Although the Lotus Star Sword sect had suffered heavy losses, the cultivation facilities inside were still considered complete, especially the Lotus Star Sword sect's sword crafting furnace, which was the best tool to recast the Lotus Star Sword. Su Yun and Ling Qingyu walked towards the Lotus Star Sword sect. Along the way, anyone who met Su Yun would recognize him as the one who had defeated the Black Hawk cult, defeated Xiao Huailin, and saved the Lotus Star Sword sect. Those who were weaker than Su Yun would respectfully address him as sect leader Su, and those who were stronger than Su Yun would also call him Brother Su. Su Yun smiled and replied casually. Ling Qingyu, who was at the side, secretly found it funny. Originally, it would only take him half a day to return to the Lotus Star Sword sect from the entrance of the dark place, but it dragged on for an entire day. By the time they reached the foot of the Lotus Heart Mountain, the sun had already set. In front of the school gate, the two guarding disciples saw Su Yun from afar, but the two of them were not sure. When Su Yun approached, the two disciples ran over ecstatically and bowed to Su Yun. One of the disciples returned to the sect and informed Hua Tianwu and the rest. Before Su Yun even entered the school, he saw Hua Tianwu leading all the experts of the Lotus Star Sword sect out to welcome Su Yun. Tianwu welcomes sect leader Su. Hua Tianwu revealed a happy expression as he walked over quickly. Welcome, sect leader Su. Everyone shouted. Seeing that, Su Yun laughed bitterly. Tianwu, you're the sect leader of the Lotus Star Sword sect. I'm just a vice sect leader with a false name. Logically speaking, I should be the one to bow to you. Why are you so polite? Su Yun could not help but ask. If there is no sect leader Su, there would be no Tianwu, and there would be no Lotus Star Sword sect. No matter if you are the vice or not, in our hearts, you are the sect leader of the Lotus Star Sword sect. Hua Tianwu said seriously. Su Yun felt even more helpless. All right, stop nagging here. Your sect master has just finished his business and is exhausted. Hurry up and arrange for him to rest. Just as everyone was about to exchange pleasantries, Ling Qingyu opened her mouth. Hearing that, Hua Tianwu immediately called out and asked his disciples to arrange a place for Su Yun to rest. Su Yun turned and smiled at Ling Qingyu. This time, it was Ling Qingyu who helped him out of his predicament. If not, it would have been another round of pleasantries. Sect Master, just as Hua Tianwu was getting people to arrange for Su Yun to rest, a series of shouts came from outside the sect. Everyone turned to look, only to see a Lotus Star Sword sect disciple dressed in a white Blade Master outfit rushing over. His expression was slightly flustered. He'd consumed quite a bit of profound energy to the point that his complexion was slightly pale and sweat was ceaselessly dripping down from his forehead. Seeing this, Hua Tianwu frowned. Li Wen, what happened? The disciple called Li Wen knelt down on one knee and bowed towards Hua Tianwu. He did not even have the time to look at Su Yun and shouted. This disciple just received news from the Realm Tree, saying that the all-empty sect brought along the swordsmanship-seeking sect, the Luotong sect, and the Nebula Sword Pavilion to build a bridge, and prepared to enter the Wanhua realm to attack it. What? Everyone was shocked. All-empty sect? The all-empty sect from the sword world? Hua Tianwu's face became heavy. I have heard of this all-empty sect before, although they are extremely strong and are quite famous in the sword world, but with just these 4 sects to deal with the entire Wanhua realm. I'm afraid it's still not enough, right? Where did they get the guts to do such a thing? Li Wen paused for a moment, his expression somewhat hesitant, and said, It is said that there are people from the Cloud Heavenly Palace suppressing the formation. This time, the 13th Elder of the Cloud Heavenly Palace, Jin Maoyuo, has also rushed to the side of the Bridge of Realms. As the sound of his voice faded, the astonished crowd fell silent. Hua Tianwu's eyes were wide open, cold sweat dripping down his face. The rest of the people were even more dazed, as if they had heard something incredible. Is what you said true? The people from the Cloud Heavenly Palace are really involved? Hua Tianwu regained his senses, his voice somewhat tense. It's true, Li Wen said. Then this time, the Wanhua realm is in trouble. Hua Tianwu's expression changed. When Su Yun and Ling Qingyu saw it, they were extremely curious. Tianwu, what's going on with this Cloud Heavenly Palace? What is the all-empty sect? Is it very powerful? How does it compare to my Lotus Star Sword sect? Suyin asked. Sect leader, please don't joke around. How can my Lotus Star Sword sect compare to the all-empty sect? And the all-empty sect and the Cloud Heavenly Palace are even more incomparable. Sect leader, do you not know about the Sword World? Hua, Tianwu asked. I don't know. Suyin shook his head. I don't know anything about the other realms. Tianwu, tell me about it. I won't talk about the Sword World's all-empty sect in detail. I will talk to you about the Cloud Heavenly Palace. Hua Tianwu paused for a moment, then said with a serious expression, there are many sects in the Sword World, and all of them use the sword as their martial arts. It is a true world where the strong preys on the weak, and it is said that there is only one way for the people there to raise their cultivation, and that is to continuously fight. Perhaps it is because of the special nature of the realm, but their profound chi is different from ours, and they can directly obtain cultivation and strength from battle to increase their own strength. Therefore, the Sword World is filled with disputes, and the Cloud Heavenly Palace is one of the famous 3 great sword sects in the Sword World, and can be said to be a top power, with tens of millions of people in the sect, and many realms have their people. Not only that, the Cloud Heavenly Palace has a complicated network of relationships, and its power is huge, and it is not something an ordinary sect can compare to. 600 years ago, the Cloud Heavenly Palace sent disciples to a place called the Foolish Death Realm to carry out a mission. The Foolish Death Realm is a very special realm. It is like a barbarian land. The people inside are uncivilized, and the entire realm is filled with slaughter and blood. However, the disciple who came here to carry out the mission was accidentally killed by the people of the Foolish Death Realm and died miserably in the Foolish Death Realm. Originally, the death of a sect because of a mission is not a big deal. Many sects have had such experiences, but the Cloud Heavenly Palace is different. This sect is extremely protective, and they have also found an excuse. An excuse? What excuse? It's an excuse to start a massacre. Hua, Tianwu Ning said, Sect leader, I have said it before, the way the people of Sword World cultivate is different from us. They use continuous battles and continuous challenges to directly obtain their cultivation, which is related to their unique profound chi. And because of this, the Sword World is the most unstable realm in the entire universe. But as the biggest sword sect in the Sword World, they rarely fight, because he is very strong. The other people of Sword World intentionally avoid the people of Cloud Heavenly Palace and do not dare to fight with them. And the more it is like this, the slower the cultivation of the people of Cloud Heavenly Palace, and the power of the sect is also declining day by day. Because of this, the Cloud Heavenly Palace must start a fight or even a war, but the people of Sword World all deliberately avoided them, and they had no way to start, so they turned their attention to the outside, and this Foolish Death Realm became their battlefield. Because of this excuse, the Cloud Heavenly Palace could launch an attack in the name of revenge, and as a result, the Cloud Heavenly Palace launched a 450-year purge of the Foolish Death Realm. The current Foolish Death Realm was barren, and all living beings were killed. The entire realm has been completely purged, and this is the power of the Cloud Heavenly Palace. Speaking till here, the faces of the surrounding people became serious. It seemed like even the ordinary disciples of the Lotus Star Sword sect had heard of this shocking matter. Su Yin had just entered the ultimate martial realm, and had just entered the Wanhua realm, so he naturally did not know about this. I never thought that this sect would be able to wipe out an entire realm. Even Ling Qingyu couldn't help but sigh. A person who wantonly kills will only accumulate calamity. The more he kills, the more enemies he will have. If the Cloud Heavenly Palace continues like this, wouldn't he be courting his own destruction? Su Yun frowned. Sect leader is right. Hua Tianwu nodded his head. In fact, many sects in the Sword World perished because they made too many enemies and accumulated too many grudges, but this did not stop them from pursuing the way of the sword. The people of the Cloud Heavenly Palace had already realized this a long time ago, so they would use treasures, magic treasure, and even some despicable methods to alleviate or divert these grudges. Although the reputation of the Cloud Heavenly Palace is not considered good, but in the ultimate martial world, it is already not bad. How could a sect not consider this point? The amount of work they had to do behind the scenes was naturally enormous. So it's like that. Su Yun was silent for a moment, then asked, Cloud Heavenly Palace is so strong. I think that with the strength of the Lotus Star Sword sect, we will definitely not be able to contend against it. However, why did the people of the Cloud Heavenly Palace come here? It can't be that they're going against our Lotus Star Sword sect, right? It is said that the son of the all-empty sect leader, Xiao Huailin, died tragically in the Wanhua realm, so the Cloud Heavenly Palace came to seek justice for him. The all-empty sect leader's wife is the daughter of the 13th elder of the Cloud Heavenly Palace, Jin Maoyuo. The disciple said, So that's how it is, but everyone, you don't have to worry. Back then, the one who beat Xiao Huailin away was the tyrant of the Linglong Mountain. It has nothing to do with us. Furthermore, we didn't kill Xiao Huailin, did we? Su Yun knew what everyone was worried about, and immediately comforted them. Even so, this matter concerns the Wanhua realm. We cannot just sit back and do nothing. You're right, Tianwu. We should make some preparations as soon as possible. If we should fight, we should retreat, and if we should act according to the situation. Su Yun waved his hand and immediately walked into the sect. In any case, this matter had nothing to do with him. Although he did not know how Xiao Huailin died, he should not have died in his hands. Back then, the Lotus Star Sword art had broken his body, but he had relied on the mystical magic treasure to escape. Maybe the heavily injured him had met some greedy spirit cultivator, which was why he had died. Forget it, I should first repair the Lotus Star Sword. Su Yun thought, and led Ling Qingyu directly to the sword forging room of the Lotus Star Sword sect. Chapter 615. Outside the Realm Tree, there was a huge horizontal tree leaning against the hill. The horizontal tree was dozens of meters wide and nearly 1,000 meters long. It was incomparably vast, and its surface was covered in moss and mushrooms. In the center of the horizontal tree, there was a large round hole. Inside the round hole stood 7 or 8 men and women dressed in green armor or green robes. The man and woman surrounded a spirit cultivator, and the spirit cultivator was currently activating his technique. With one hand on the horizontal tree and the other on his chest, he closed his eyes and chanted. His 2 hands glowed with a bright light. It was extremely magical, and with him as the center, layers of profound strength exploded out. The person who cast the spell was the new guard captain of the Realm Tree, Zhu Gu. Zhu Gu was fully focused, activating the profound strength. His face gradually paled. The sweat on his forehead also increased. The profound chi that leaked out from the surface gradually weakened, as though he was unable to hold on any longer. When the people at the side saw this, they immediately waved their palms and lightly patted his chest, imbuing the profound strength into him. Zhu Gu's face immediately brightened up. The lustrous green light in his hand became more and more vigorous, and sawtooth like sawdust appeared on the wooden wall that was pressed against by his palm. These sawdust quickly arranged themselves, forming a star cycle diagram. It was extremely mysterious. When Zhu Gu saw this, he let go of his hand and stopped activating his chi. He stared at the Zhou Tian diagram with all his attention, as though he was carefully reading the mysteries on it. Giant, what is this? Realm Tree Minister Lu Yuan asked. This is an absolute art that evolved from the star scripture created by the great sage of the ancient era. It is called the star technique. Using this star technique, we can easily calculate the person we are looking for, the person who killed Xiao Huailin. Zhu Gu laughed. So magical? Lord Lu frowned. Then isn't this the same as my Realm Tree forbidden technique? This is a profound technique that goes against the laws of nature, according to the rules of the Realm Tree. It must be forbidden. No, Lord Lu, you misunderstand. This technique is not a forbidden technique, nor is it as powerful as our Realm Tree forbidden technique. This star technique is just a type of calculation technique, and it requires a foundation and a medium, and I just happen to have a medium here. Jugu quickly said, and then took out a fiery red cloth from a space bag. The cloth was still stained with blood, and the blood was glowing. It was obviously not ordinary flesh and blood. What is this? Everyone was puzzled. This is Xiao Huailin's clothes and blood. Jugu laughed. Back then, when Xiao Huailin disturbed the Linglong Mountain, I was ordered by the Realm Lord to go to the Linglong Mountain to capture Xiao Huailin, but when I rushed to the Linglong Mountain, Xiao Huailin had already been chased away. In order to capture him, I specially went to the Black Hawk sect that had already turned into ruins and the Lotus Star Sword sect, and from the Lotus Star Sword sect, I found this. With that, Jugu began to cast his spell. He raised a finger and quickly moved it on his chest. After that, he urged his chi to wrap around the fragment that was stained with blood. He squeezed it tightly and quickly rubbed it. The fragment was actually rubbed into a ball that glowed with a blue light. After that, he tossed it towards the stellar cycle diagram. The blue sphere of light gently floated towards the domain map. When it neared the map, it actually fused with it and slowly rotated within the star map. The scene was extremely mysterious, as if an immortal was casting a spell. The surrounding realm tree ministers were all surprised and emotional. Very quickly, the star map dimmed, and the expression of Jugu, who was standing in front of the map, changed. He muttered something, as if he was activating something. After an unknown period of time, suddenly, pow! Jugu suddenly clapped his hands and laughed. I found him! Everyone stared at him, and Lord Lu asked anxiously, Where? Jugu wanted to say something, but suddenly the star map flashed. Seeing that, Jugu's face changed a few times and said anxiously, Everyone, quickly follow me. That person is preparing to leave the Wanhua realm. With that, he took the lead and rushed out of the tree. When the rest saw this, how could they dare to stay? They all rushed forward. Several rays of green light pierced through the tree and into the clouds. Crash! Inside the sword forging room of the Lotus Star Sword sect, waves of multicolored light flickered. At this moment, Ling Qingyu was sitting cross-legged in front of the sword furnace, urging the profound qi to ignite the sword fire and smoke the sword furnace. Su Yin was arranging the materials at the side. Very quickly, all the materials needed to repair the Lotus Star Sword were prepared. Once the sword furnace was done preheating, the repair could begin. Looking at Ling Qingyu, who was sitting beside the sword furnace, Su Yin could not help but feel touched. The young girl's face was snow white, and beads of sweat gently slid down her face like pearls. Her slightly red eyes were gently closed, and her long and slightly curved eyelashes were slowly trembling. Her rosy lips were slightly pursed, and it was very alluring. Su Yun's heart ached. He opened his mouth wanting to say something, but then he saw Ling Qingyu holding her fair and jade-like arms. Stopping, she sat down and opened her eyes that shone like the stars. Waves of heat rose from the sword furnace, and the silver-white sword furnace also turned scarlet red, like a piece of red-hot iron. Su Yun, bring the materials over. I'll help you refine the sword. Ling Qingyu looked at the sword furnace, but extended her fair hand towards Su Yun. However, Ling Qingyu's hand that was hanging in the air did not receive the materials. In the next moment, a big hand held onto her sleeve and gently wiped the sweat off her forehead. Ling Qingyu's delicate body trembled. She turned to look at the owner of the sleeve. It was Su Yun. Su Yun was clumsily wiping her sweat. His expression was extremely focused, and there was even a trace of gentleness in his focus, making people feel that he was very cute. Ling Qingyu felt that it was funny, but at the same time, she felt that it was a little unnatural. Her cheeks were red, and she was a little flustered. Don't move, Su Yin said with concentration. Ling Qingyu was startled, only to see Su Yin gently fiddling with a few strands of messy black hair on her forehead. After wiping off the sweat, he stared at his own face seriously for a while, and then revealed an ugly smile. This kind of Qingyu is the most beautiful. Hearing that, Ling Qingyu looked at him in a daze. After a long while, her pink lips curled up, and she burst out laughing. Su Yun, you look so silly now, huh? Are you stupid? Su Yun rubbed his nose. Ha. Don't make me laugh. This is not like you at all, ha. Ling Qingyu laughed for a while, then stopped and looked at Su Yun with a little more gentleness, just like how Su Yun was looking at Ling Qingyu at the moment. Su Yun walked over and threw all the materials into the sword furnace. Qingyu, you have rested well. I will do the matter of refining the sword. Why? I'm not tired. You're not tired, but I look tired. Why are you tired? My heart is tired. Su Yun turned his head and looked at Ling Qingyu. You have done too much for me, so I do not wish to see you do things silently for me anymore. I want to do all the things that I can do myself. Hearing that, Ling Qingyu was startled for a moment. Then she placed her hands on the ground, her slender white thighs casually placed on the ground. She laughed. What do you mean by that? Do you feel ashamed of me? Oh me, didn't I tell you before? I'm only helping you to repay the kindness of the sword ancestor, so you don't have to feel guilty. Hearing that, Su Yun shook his head without hesitation. I'm not doing this because I'm worried that I owe you. Then what's the reason? Su Yun was silent for a moment, then raised his head and said, Didn't I say it before? If you really don't understand, then let's put it in another way. I feel sorry for you. Ling Qingyu immediately became silent. She was prepared to tease him a few more times, but realized that she could not laugh no matter what. After saying that, Su Yun turned his head and began to repair the Lotus Star Sword. Ling Qingyu looked at the broad and broad back in a daze, her fair and delicate face alternating between red and white. But in the end, she lowered her head, her fair and slender fingers twisting the front of her snow-white clothes. No one knew what she was thinking. Su Yun naturally did not pay attention to Ling Qingyu's change. The current him had already placed all of his energy and attention into the sword furnace. When the Lotus Star Sword was thrown into the sword furnace, it was as if the sword furnace had been poured with boiling oil. Heat waves surged out, sword intent flew everywhere, and waves of light shot out from the mouth of the sword furnace like a fountain. Su Yun activated the profound qi, supporting the temperature of the sword furnace. Su Yun did not know how to refine swords, but the old sect leader had already taught him the method to repair it. According to the method given by the old sect leader, Su Yun proceeded carefully, not daring to be the slightest bit careless. Ling Qingyu, who was at the back, sat on the cushion, supporting her exquisite chin as she looked at Su Yun. Looking at the man's clumsy yet cautious appearance, she could not help but laugh. After an unknown period of time, the sword furnace started to shake violently, and the scarlet-red surface of the furnace iron also turned deathly white. This temperature seemed to be close to the temperature of the Tribulation fire sword. From the looks of it, the repairing materials that were thrown in were all extraordinary. He couldn't let it all go to waste. Su Yun clenched his teeth and continued to inject qi. The Lotus Star Sword was not an ordinary sword, so repairing it was not an easy task. However, Su Yun was currently at the third stage of the Sky Spirit Master. With a dense, profound qi, it was not impossible for him to repair the Lotus Star Sword. The profound qi in the house rippled. The sword furnace shook more and more violently, and the temperature also became higher and higher. Ling Qingyu, who was still staring at Su Yun, could not help but turn her gaze to the top of the sword furnace. Looking at the sword furnace that was shaking intensely, and the solemn expression of Su Yun, who was sweating profusely, after thinking for a while, she finally made up her mind, walked over with light steps, extended her hand, and gently placed it on Su Yun's back. Although she had trained hard until now, she had only touched the edge of the Sky Spirit Master, and could not be compared to Su Yun at all, but this power was extremely important at this moment. Su Yun, who was completely focused on refining the sword, felt a cool and refreshing qi coming from behind him. He immediately regained his senses and turned his head to look, only to see Ling Qingyu's delicate and pretty face. Don't look back. Focus on practicing the sword. Ling Qingyu did not dare to look him in the eye. She immediately closed her eyes and said softly, Chapter 6:16. 100 Flowers, 1,000 Tree Sect. In a place where countless flowers were blooming, there was a natural gate formed by a towering tree. This door was not deliberately carved by a person, nor was there a formation. It was a purely natural gate, completely natural. This was the symbol of the Wanhua realm, and it was also the door to the Wanhua realm. No matter who it was, They had to pass through this door to enter and exit the Wanhua realm. There were spirit beasts guarding the door, and there was more than one spirit beast. Two human-shaped trees that were about 30 meters tall gently moved in front of the gate. Every time they moved, they would emit a strange creaking sound, and on top of these two trees, there were hundreds of birds. These birds were colorful and beautiful, small like sparrows and large like phoenixes. Other than the trees and birds, there were also a large number of spirit beasts. There was a green tiger that was completely green, an earth elephant that was as big as a hill, and a coiling spirit python that was over 100 meters long. And in front of the 100 beast spirit dance, there were a large number of Wanhua realm guards. There were more than 1,000 of them, and every one of them had an incomparably powerful aura. All of them were at least at the first stage of the Sky Spirit Master, and were extremely terrifying. And far away from this magical natural gate, there was a peach forest. Unknowingly, a fox demon with a huge white tail and a cute and charming appearance had appeared from within the peach forest. The fox demon's two small, white hands clung to the peach tree and quietly looked at the nature's gate in the distance. After quietly looking for the time it took for an incense stick to burn, her big black eyes rolled around, and she quickly ran toward the gate while wagging her tail. When they saw the fox demon walking towards the door, the commander of the Realm Tree soldiers immediately walked over and shouted, "Who are you? What do you do?" "Me?" The fox demon pointed at her nose and laughed. "I am a rogue cultivator. Hee. I want to leave the Wanhua realm." "Rogue cultivator?" The officer glanced at the fox demon and said indifferently, "Realm Master has ordered that no one is allowed to leave the Wanhua realm during this period of time. The natural gate is also temporarily sealed. No one is allowed to enter or exit." "Why?" The fox demon was startled. "Don't ask too much. Leave quickly. Otherwise, we will capture you and escort you to the Realm Tree." The officer shouted. His expression was extremely serious. He did not seem to be joking. After hearing this, the fox demon knew that it was impossible to go out. She stroked her delicate chin and thought for a moment. Her eyes secretly glanced at the token hanging on the waist of the officer. She giggled and ignored the stupid soldiers. She directly turned around and ran towards the peach forest. After entering the peach blossom forest, the fox demon rummaged through a white interspatial bag hanging on his waist. Soon he took out a sparkling and translucent gem and began fiddling with it. A moment later, a tall and handsome man walked out of the peach forest. The man's expression was solemn, and he had his hands behind his back. He was dressed in a green robe and had a treasured sword at his waist. There was an ancient tree pattern on his chest, and both his hair and eyebrows were dark green in color. He walked over step by step, neither fast nor slow, giving people a feeling that he was as steady as Mount Tai. Before the officer could return to his troops, he saw someone else approaching. His face tightened, and he walked up with a stern expression. "Stop. Nature's gate has been sealed. No one is allowed to enter or exit. No one is allowed to approach. Leave quickly." "How dare you?" Just as the officer finished speaking, the handsome man immediately shouted angrily and said coldly, "How dare you be so rude when you see me? How dare you? Do you know who I am?" With that said, the soldiers were all shocked as they looked at the man in astonishment. However, when they saw this person's face, everyone looked at each other in dismay. They realized that no one recognized this fellow. "Sir?" The officer was stunned. He looked at the man carefully and asked doubtfully, "Who are you? You don't even know me?" When the man heard that, he became extremely angry. "You trash actually don't even know who this lord is? Oomph. Hurry up and get your officer out. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson." "Sir?" The officer looked at the man suspiciously and said indifferently, "I am the officer here. You? Who is in charge of you?" "Imperial Guard Captain, Lord Ju Gu." The officer proudly snorted. Unexpectedly, just as he finished speaking, the man slapped him. His movements were fast and ruthless, and in an instant, it landed on the officer's face. Pow! When he regained his senses, his face was burning hot, and it was extremely painful. He felt that although this slap did not use profound strength, It had broken through his protective profound chi and directly smashed onto his face, making him feel extremely uncomfortable. You? The officer was stunned, his mind was in a daze. The soldiers were even more surprised, but no one dared to move. The officer was naturally enraged. Looking at this strange fellow, he was about to flare up, but before he could move, he heard this person shout angrily. So, it's little G is subordinate. Your Lord Jugu has to be courteous when he sees me. Who are you? Quickly scram. I am under the orders of the Realm Lord to immediately head to the ultimate martial world to seek reinforcements. All of you quickly open the gate of nature for me. Otherwise, can you afford to delay the Realm Lord's matters? The order of the Realm Lord? When the officer heard this, he did not dare to argue with this fellow about slapping him in the face and said in shock, "Nonsense." The man took off the order badge from his waist and shouted, "This is the order badge bestowed by the Realm Lord. It is the same as the divine leaf. Anyone who sees this order badge is equivalent to seeing the Realm Lord." He shook the order badge for a moment, then put it away. In a trance, the officer felt that the order badge was somewhat familiar, but he could not see it clearly. The man shouted angrily, "What are you all still standing there for? Why aren't you opening the gate of nature? The people from Sword World are about to arrive. If we do not quickly request for reinforcements, Wanhua Realm will be in danger. If we delay the important matters, all of you will be the sinners of Wanhua Realm." As the sound of his voice faded, it truly shocked the guards of the Gate of Nature. How could they bear the responsibility of being a sinner of the Wanhua Realm? Although the officer still had doubts in his heart, he did not persist. No matter who this person was, letting him leave the Wanhua Realm would not cause any harm to the Wanhua Realm, right? After weighing the pros and cons, he decided not to take the risk. He cupped his fists and said, "Since that's the case, please wait a moment, sir. After we report this matter to Lord Jugu, we will immediately open the door for you." "What?" "And report to Jugu." The man flew into a rage and was about to slap him again, scaring the officer into retreating. "This matter is extremely urgent. Every second delayed means one more second of danger for the Wanhua Realm. Jugu already knows about this matter. If you continue to delay this lord's time, at that time, this lord will personally report you to the Realm Master and punish you for your crimes." The officer was in a dilemma. However, looking at the angry expression on the face of the person in front of him, his eyes filled with urgency and dignity, his heart was finally filled with fear. After hesitating for a moment, the officer gritted his teeth and made a decision. He turned around and waved to the soldiers behind him. "Disperse. Let the Lord enter the gate of nature." "Yes, sir." The soldiers shouted in unison, and then dispersed, opening up a path for the Lord to pass through. The gate of nature did not have any enchantments, nor did they have any imprints. They were always open and could be entered and exited at any time. Of course, they had to have the permission of the Realm Tree Guards. The corner of the man's mouth raised slightly. With his hands behind his back, he swaggered towards the gate of nature. Just as the man leaped past the officer suddenly froze, and his eyes shifted to the man's back. Behind this person, there was a huge snow-white tail, and it seemed to be a fox's tail. "Sir, wait." The officer felt that something was wrong and hurriedly shouted. Hearing that, the man did not hesitate at all. With a turn of his feet, he removed his disguise and rushed towards the gate of nature like a gust of wind. "Ah, it's a fake." The officer was immediately shocked. This is the gate of nature. The chi of nature is extremely strong. The chi can purify everything in the world. No profound technique can disguise it. If you approach this place, your true form will be revealed. This person is not someone from the Realm Tree. Quickly capture her. The officer suddenly realized and roared in anger. "Don't go." The soldiers immediately burst into an uproar as they rushed towards that person. That person was no longer a handsome man who was 7 feet tall, but a young girl with furry fox ears. The young girl turned her head and looked at the group of exasperated soldiers behind her. She immediately laughed out loud and stuck out her pink tongue in ridicule. "You bunch of idiots, huh? You've been fooled by me, haven't you? Ha ha ha." With that, she increased her speed and charged towards the incomparably huge gate of nature. However, when the fox was about to approach the gate of nature, a green light suddenly shot out from the sky, directly attacking the gate of nature. When it crashed into the gate of nature, the green light exploded with a pa sound, transforming into a huge net that covered the sky, completely sealing the door. What? Fox Demon's face changed. Before she could even react, she crashed into the net and was sent flying back. Ouch! She sat on the ground and cried out in pain. When she turned her head to look behind her, she saw that a large number of soldiers had already surrounded her. Damn it, who plotted against me? Fox Demon suddenly crawled up from the ground, pulled out the scimitar from her waist, and shouted, "Cunning Fox, how dare you be so arrogant? Take him down." The officer scolded. A group of people pulled out their swords and sabers and rushed forward. But in the next second, the fox slashed forward with her blade. The blood-red curved blade released a profound strength that was like a wave and actually smashed all the first stage Sky Spirit Master existences in front of her into a complete mess. Such power! The officer was stunned. In the end, you are someone who can kill Xiao Huailin. Your strength is indeed not ordinary. But today, you should just surrender. A shout floated over from the horizon. Then, several green figures could be seen charging in this direction. The officer and the rest saw that it was a realm tree expert, and the person in the lead was Zhu Gu. Chapter 617. It's Lord Zhu Gu. The officer was overjoyed. This time, the soldiers could not surround her. Seeing Zhu Gu and the rest of the realm tree experts rushing over, they knew that the fox spirit would not be able to escape. Zhu Gu and the rest flew over and landed in front of the soldiers. Everyone surrounded the fox demon in an arc shape, and not even a drop of water could leak out. There were a total of 8 people on Zhu Gu's side. All of their auras were extremely dense, and were definitely not something the soldiers could compare to. Seeing Zhu Gu and the rest arrive, the fox demon was startled, and then the corner of her mouth curled up. "I don't think you guys came here by chance. What? Are you here to capture me?" The fox demon laughed. "It's good that you know," Zhu Gu said indifferently. "Fortunately, we came in time. Otherwise, we would have let you go. If you leave, our Wanhua realm will not be at peace." Hearing that, Hu Qianmei's face changed. "What do you mean by that? What is it? You still don't understand? You killed Xiao Huailin, and this time, the all-empty sect came out in full force. Their goal is also for you. As long as you are in the hands of the all-empty sect, I believe that our Wanhua realm will be able to live in peace and enjoy eternal peace." Zhu Gu said. When the fox demon heard this, her smile disappeared and anger surfaced. "You guys actually plan to hand me over to all-empty sect? TCH, you bunch of ignorant fellows. If I did not kill Xiao Huailin, who knows how many people would have died. You guys actually want to repay kindness with enmity." Repay kindness with enmity? Do you know how much trouble you have caused for our Wanhua realm? Now, as long as we sacrifice you, we can protect our entire realm. Although I know that you killed Xiao Huailin out of good intentions, but since you're thinking for the Wanhua realm, why don't you think for the Wanhua realm? Lord Lu said expressionlessly. Hearing that, the fox demon was truly enraged. "I was blind. That's why I helped your Wanhua realm get rid of the evil. I never thought that you people were actually a group of sanctimonious people. How shameless. Your realm lord is the same. Back then, he said that he would respect my choice, but now he actually told you to come and capture me. So it was just a lie. I've seen through you all." Fox Demon was so angry that her teeth itched. She knew that these people were going to hand her over, and her hatred for them was already overflowing. "There's no point in talking anymore," Zhu Gu said. "We should capture her as soon as possible and subdue her. If we let this guy escape, it would be a waste of effort." "Not bad." Lady Lu let out a low roar and actually made the first move. She quickly flipped her hands, took out a tree branch, and directly chopped at the fox demon. When the tree branch was about to fall, she saw a large amount of energy bursting out from the tree branch. The energy turned into vines and instantly wrapped around her body. However, the fox demon was not flustered at all. She flipped her palm and summoned something. A ring of mysterious golden light appeared from her body. The golden light was overbearing and ferocious. It instantly shattered the vines and landed on Lord Liu. Lord Liu was caught off guard and was blasted over 10 meters away before crashing onto the ground and spitting out a mouthful of blood. His profound energy shook incessantly. What? Zhu Gu was stunned. This person is only around the 3rd stage of the Sky Spirit Master. Lord Liu is at least at the 5th stage of the Sky Spirit Master. How could she injure Lord Liu? I'm afraid this person has a magical treasure. Everyone be careful. Someone cried out in alarm. After everyone heard this, they all took out their treasures and stared at the fox demon with a serious expression. After the fox demon succeeded, she was not in a hurry to chase after him. Instead, she started to chant some sort of incantation. The profound qi around her body was like a whirlwind, revolving crazily around her and spinning faster and faster, her aura becoming stronger and stronger, as though she was activating some sort of powerful technique. Stop her from casting. Zhu Gu roared. Everyone attacked at the same time, attacking the fox demon. But just as everyone moved, the fox demon's pink lips curled up, revealing a sly smile. As though she had succeeded in something, she suddenly put down her hands. The profound qi around her body disappeared without a trace. And at the same time, an incomparably intense golden light erupted from her body. The golden light was incomparably resplendent, like a blazing sun. It was so dazzling that it was hard for people to open their eyes. All the Realm Tree experts stopped in their tracks. They turned their heads and were forced to retreat by the golden light. When the golden light dissipated, everyone looked over, only to realize that the fox demon was nowhere to be seen. Not good. She ran away. She's there. Chase. The cries continued. Bang. A muffled sound came out from the sword forging room. Following that, the extremely hot sword furnace suddenly exploded, the heat wave spreading out, directly flipping over the 2 people beside the sword furnace. Su Yun had already used up all his profound qi. It was difficult for him to resist. His entire body was sent flying, but he did not land on the ground. Instead, he leaned on a soft and delicate body. It was Ling Qingyu. She hugged Su Yun's waist with both hands, activated the profound qi, and caught him. Although Ling Qingyu had also used up a lot of profound qi, it was still more than enough to catch this guy. But Su Yun shamelessly leaned his head on Ling Qingyu's shoulder, gasping for breath. Ling Qingyu frowned. She pushed him to the corner of the wall and snorted. You're not dead yet, right? Soon. Su Yun revealed a weak smile. Glib tongue. Ling Qingyu snorted. Su Yun did not reply. He looked at the sword furnace, only to see that it had already shattered. But the place where the sword furnace had shattered floated an incomparably white longsword. The longsword was lustrous, shining with light. It was incomparably mystical, and on the body of the longsword, there was a golden-edged white lotus, waves after waves of mysterious spirit energy overflowing from the lotus. Is this the repaired Lotus Star Sword? Ling Qingyu looked at the sword, lost in thought. That's right. The repaired Lotus Star Sword is the complete Lotus Star Sword. With this sword, the 3rd form of the Lotus Star Sword art can be completely released. Su Yun grinned. He stood up to retrieve the sword, but just as he stood up, his footsteps became crooked, as though he did not manage to catch a breath, and his entire body uncontrollably fell towards Ling Qingyu. Ling Qingyu did not have the time to react. When she turned to look at Su Yun, she saw that Su Yun had already pounced over. She subconsciously extended her hand out, wanting to stop Su Yun, but in the next second, his entire head was buried into Ling Qingyu's snow-white chest. Ling Qingyu was stunned. He only felt that the softness in his chest was being ruthlessly squeezed, and the hot breath was like a needle continuously stimulating that sensitive place. This strange feeling caused Ling Qingyu's entire body to suddenly lose all strength. Her heart was beating wildly, and her breathing almost stopped. She was pressed down by Su Yun's inertia, and the 2 of them fell to the ground. Su Yun was startled. He looked at Ling Qingyu, only to see her eyes wide open, staring at him blankly, her tender little mouth slightly opened. Her expression seemed to have frozen. Seeing that, Su Yun suddenly woke up. He anxiously crawled up and laughed. At this moment, he did not know where he got the strength from, but he stood up like lightning. He did not feel any sense of powerlessness from using up the profound qi. Seeing that, Ling Qingyu was shocked and angry. She stood up and pushed Su Yun away, her white cheeks puffed up, and said angrily, "You bastard, did you do it on purpose? How could that be? I really tried my best just now." Sorry, Qingyu, this was completely an accident," Su Yun immediately said. "You, humph." Ling Qingyu wanted to scold him a few times, but looking at his strange smile, she could not say anything. She could only sulk and ignore him. She turned her head and quickly walked towards the sword sheath, and when she got close to the sword sheath, she flew in and disappeared without a trace. Seeing that, Su Yun immediately shouted, "Qingyu, didn't you want to teach me the burning heaven sword formation? Qingyu, don't go." However, there was no movement from the sword sheath. Such a bad temper. That was really an accident. Su Yun rubbed his nose, and then he couldn't help but rub his face and chuckled. But at this moment, another burst of light shot out from the sword sheath. Ling Qingyu, who had just entered, flew out again. Seeing that, Su Yun laughed. "Qingyu, you're not angry anymore?" Ling Qingyu took in 2 deep breaths and suddenly revealed a strange smile. "I'm not angry anymore. Su Yun, you just said that you wanted me to teach you the burning heaven sword formation, right? Since the Lotus Star Sword has already been refined, then I will teach you." Ling Qingyu rarely smiled. Seeing her smile, Su Yun could not help but shiver. He felt a chill run down his spine and immediately said, "About that, I have exhausted all of my profound qi today. It's not suitable for me to cultivate another day. Another day? Another day? That won't do. I said today, it's today." Hearing that, Su Yun knew that he would not be able to escape this calamity. He could only put on a thick face and say, "Then at least let me recover my profound qi first, right? I'll help you recover." Ling Qingyu knew that Su Yun was stalling for time. He snorted and said, then walked over and let Su Yun sit down. Under Ling Qingyu's swift and fierce attack, Su Yun had no choice but to obediently recover with his qi. With the help of the high-quality pills from the treasure vault, coupled with Ling Qingyu's cooperation, Su Yun's recovery speed was not bad. However, what made Su Yun disappointed was that among the large number of pills he obtained from the nameless prison, there were no rare pills that could increase his cultivation. Sect leader. Just as Su Yun and Ling Qingyu were still in the room, Hua Tianwu's voice suddenly came from outside. "Sect leader, Tianwu requests an audience." Su Yun, who was in the midst of qi, opened his eyes and was a little surprised. Ling Qingyu was not angry at this time. She removed the profound qi and pushed Su Yun away. Su Yun also understood what she meant. He chuckled, then stood up and opened the door. The sword furnace exploded. The room was filled with smoke. Hua Tianwu could not see clearly, but when he saw Su Yun walking out with a beautiful lady in the room, Hua Tianwu blinked his eyes, revealing a look of understanding. He immediately cupped his fists and bowed. "Sect leader, please forgive me. This subordinate did not know that you were dual cultivating." "What did you say?" Hearing that, Ling Qingyu's face changed drastically. Hua Tianwu was startled. Su Yun hurriedly coughed, but did not explain and directly asked, "Tianwu, what's the matter?" Only then did Hua Tianwu regain his senses and said respectfully, "The Realm Tree has sent an urgent message, requesting for the Linglong Mountain to be completely sealed. All sects are guarding the main roads, and no one is allowed to enter or leave. My Lotus Star Sword sect must also seal off the 7 paths leading up and down the mountain. Tianwu does not dare to make a decision. So I have to report to you, sect leader." "Seal the mountain?" Su Yun frowned slightly. "Did something happen?" "It is said that the people of Realm Tree are chasing after a criminal, but this criminal is a cunning person, hiding all the way. And from the looks of it, the criminal's target seems to be the Linglong Mountain. If Tianwu's guess is correct, this criminal is planning to enter our Linglong Mountain's dark place. and escape from the Wanhua realm through the door of disorder. Chapter 6:18. So that's how it is. Su Yun nodded his head. Since that's the case, then send people to make arrangements, seal off all the mountain paths, and forbid anyone from entering or leaving. However, if the criminal really does walk the few paths that our Lotus Star Sword sect is in charge of, you have to instruct the disciples. If you can't beat him, then let him leave. Do not sacrifice yourself for nothing. Do you understand? Hua Tianwu did not understand the meaning of Su Yun's words, but he had always respected Su Yun and did not dare to question him. He cupped his fists and said, "Yes, sect leader." With that, Hua Tianwu left. After Hua Tianwu left, Su Yun continued to go back to his house. However, Ling Qingyu's expression became even more furious, and the coldness in his eyes became even colder. If Hua Tianwu came to report the news, then so be it. He even added oil to the fire. Su Yun knew that the next few days would not be easy. After recovering his qi, he was pulled by Ling Qingyu to the training field of the Lotus Star Sword sect and began his arduous training. At this moment at the Realm Tree, a large number of troops were gathering outside the Realm Tree. The scattered troops around the Wanhua realm received the orders of the Realm Master and all returned. In just a few days, close to 100,000 Realm Tree soldiers had already gathered outside the Realm Tree. At a glance, the dark green armor gave off an extremely shocking feeling. And what was even more shocking was that all of these soldiers had a cultivation of the first stage of the Sky Spirit Master. A green-robed Realm Master stood on a tall branch, looking down at the army, her eyes extremely calm. Rong Myuk and the rest followed behind. They only saw Rong Myuk holding onto a green leaf. Looking at the words on the green leaf that were glowing, he muttered something, as though he was reporting something to the Realm Master. These are all the soldiers in our Wanhua realm who are at the first stage of the Sky Spirit Master and above. According to your orders, we did not summon any cultivators below the first stage. Rong Myuk said, if we do not get along well with the people of all empty sect, something will definitely happen. For a battle of this level, anyone below the first stage of the Sky Spirit Master will only die for nothing. The Realm Master said indifferently, that's right. Rong Myuk nodded his head. He swept his gaze across the densely packed people. His heart calmed down a little and laughed. With so many Sky Spirit Master experts, I'm afraid no realm can casually gather so many existences. This is all thanks to my Wanhua realm's outstanding people, rich in resources, and more suitable for nurturing experts. Although this was a bit exaggerated, it was also the truth. How could an ordinary realm gather close to 100,000 Sky Spirit Master existences? Only a world as vast as the ultimate martial world would be possible. But it is precisely because my Wanhua realm is rich in resources that I was spied on by the people of other realms. Realm Master, actually this humble subject is still a little worried. A middle-aged man with a crew cut said. His name was Yang Lang, and he was in charge of setting up the spirit formation seal of the Realm Tree. What is Lord Yang worried about? Realm Master turned her head and asked softly. Yang Lang cupped his fists and bowed and said, this lowly subject is worried. The purpose of the people from Cloud Heavenly Palace this time is not only to stand up for all empty sect, but also to plot against my Wanhua realm. Do you think they want to use this as an excuse to attack my Wanhua realm? The Realm Master said indifferently. That's right. Yang Lang nodded. When the surrounding people heard this, their expressions became solemn. They felt that the possibility of this happening was not small. Realm Master turned her gaze, looked down at the ocean-like army, and said indifferently, actually, Master Yang, your worries are right, and this is not a worry, but a fact. The reason why Cloud Heavenly Palace is here this time is to cause trouble and create an excuse for them. Why does Realm Master say that? Because the living beings of the Vain Death realm have already been slaughtered by the Cloud Heavenly Palace, and if the Cloud Heavenly Palace needs to develop, they must start a war. The profound qi that the people of Sword World cultivate is not the swift wind spirit qi, but a very special fighting spirit qi. Although my Wanhua realm is not some great realm with outstanding strength, but all these years, we have always advocated peace treated people sincerely, and have never let anyone down. We are also famous in the myriad heavens realm. If the Cloud Heavenly Palace were to start a war with us for no reason, we would definitely be opposed by the other realms, and when the time comes, the Cloud Heavenly Palace would only suffer the consequences of their own actions. Romyuk said. Hearing that, the Realm Master shook her head again. As long as they have an excuse, they can make their move. It is perfectly justifiable. How could others dare to interfere? Furthermore, the other realms were not a threat to them. They are not afraid of war. Hearing that, Romyuk opened his mouth. This matter is definitely not simple. Furthermore, even if we hand over the person who killed Xiao Huailin to the All-Empty sect, they will definitely not let us go so easily, so I refuse to hand that person over. At the same time, I gathered the power of the Wanhua realm and prepared to fight against the other sects and the Cloud Heavenly Palace. The Realm Master said indifferently. When everyone heard this, they understood the logic behind it and nodded. It had to be said that the Realm Master's eyes were much more brilliant than theirs. Report. Just then, a shout came from afar. Following that, a soldier dressed in green rattan armor flew over, knelt on one knee in front of the Realm Master, and shouted, "Reporting to Realm Master, Lord Zhugu and Lord Lu Yuan are currently heading towards the Linglong Mountain and have issued a mountain sealing order." Mountain sealing order? Romyuk and the rest were startled. What are Zhugu, Lu Yuan, and the rest doing? This subordinate does not know. The soldier shook his head. When this subordinate received the news from the Linglong Mountain, he immediately rushed over to report. With the mountain sealing order, the Linglong Mountain was completely isolated from the outside world, causing a large number of spirit cultivators to complain. The Linglong Mountain is extremely special. There are many people from other realms mixed in. If we offend these people, it will not be a good thing for my Wanhua realm. Romyuk said. But what exactly is Lord Zhugu going to do? Why did he seal the Linglong Mountain for no reason? Who knows? Logically speaking, he should have rushed here immediately, mobilized his troops, and set up defenses at the Gate of Nature. We must immediately recall Lord Zhugu. At such a critical juncture, we cannot let him cause any more trouble. Yes. The ministers discussed animatedly. The Realm Master lowered her head and thought for a moment, then said indifferently, "Prime Minister Rome, what orders does the Realm Master have? Quickly head to the Linglong Mountain and summon Zhugu, Lu Yuan, and the others back. Tell them to give up on their pursuit of that person. She cannot stop this storm for us." The pursuit of that person? Could it be that Lord Zhugu and the others are going to capture the person who killed Xiao Huailin? That's right. The Realm Master said indifferently. But we have to respect the wishes of others. Furthermore, she is not strong enough to block all empty sect and Cloud Heavenly Palace for us. Capturing her back is useless. Hearing that, Romyuk bit his lower lip, then cupped his fists and said, "Yes, Realm Master, this humble subject will go and recall Zhugu now." The Realm Master nodded and looked down again. Countless Realm Tree soldiers were still gathering. Bang! Inside the Lotus Star Sword sect's martial field, a muffled sound came out. Following that, a wave of heat sent a pitch-black and miserable figure flying. The figure flipped in the air, staggered after landing, and finally fell to the ground on his butt. Looking at it, it was Su Yun. At the moment, his face was covered in dirt, his entire body was red and black, and he was in a sorry state. In front of him, a young lady dressed in white was holding onto a fiery red sword, glaring at him angrily. The young lady's entire body was covered in flames. It was extremely terrifying. The temperature in the air was so high that it could melt steel, if not for the support of his cultivation. Su Yun would have been roasted to death long ago. Did you see it clearly? Su Yun, this is the fourth sword of the Burning Heaven Sword formation, the Sword of Sun and Moon. Did you not see it clearly? If you didn't see it clearly, I'll show it to you again. Ling Qingyu shouted. Look clearly, look clearly. I saw it all clearly, don't demonstrate. Su Yun anxiously crawled up and shouted. All right then. Ling Qingyu nodded his head. Since that's the case, then use the Sword of Sun and Moon that you just learned to spar with me. Let me see how much you have learned. Ah, Su Yun was startled. If he really wanted to spar with her, wouldn't he be played to death by her? This woman was really petty. Wasn't she just taking advantage of a little oil? She was actually angry. Su Yun was helpless, looking at Ling Qingyu's clear eyes that flashed with complacency. A little anger surfaced in his heart. This girl was so overbearing and arrogant. His eyes darted around. He thought for a moment, then held onto the tribulation fire sword and shouted, "All right, since Qingyu has already said so, then be careful. I'm going to activate the sword formation. Come on." Ling Qingyu held onto the fiery red sword and shouted in a serious tone. Su Yun held onto the tribulation fire sword and quickly rushed towards Ling Qingyu. When he got close to her, he released the tribulation fire sword and quickly moved his hands, forming the fourth sword technique of the burning heaven sword formation, Sword of Sun and Moon. The profound chi split into two and rushed towards his left and right hands. The yang left and the yin right, the sun left and the moon right. The sword intent rippled, and the sword chi flew horizontally. The tribulation fire sword that was dancing in the air released a wave of heat and quickly transformed into two sword images. The fourth sword could be unleashed with only one sword strike. The essence of this move lay in its momentum and intent. The sword image appeared and transformed into the shape of the sun and moon. It flew around the tribulation fire sword disc and quickly rushed towards Ling Qingyu. The entire training room began to shake. The scorching temperature and fiery red sword light filled the entire training ground, as if it wanted to roast the entire place. However, this attack that was as powerful as a rainbow did not pose the slightest threat to Ling Qingyu. She only snorted lightly, clasped the sword in her hand, and also used the Sword of Sun and Moon. Just based on cultivation, Ling Qingyu was definitely not Su Yun's match. However, just based on this move, Su Yun was definitely not Ling Qingyu's match. The two swords that were surrounded by the light of the sun and moon clashed together. The tribulation fire sword was directly sent flying, and the heat wave on its surface was completely devoured by the opponent. Ling Qingyu's sword was like a hot knife through butter, striking the tribulation fire sword and directly attacking Su Yun. Chapter 619. In the end, Ling Qingyu was still a sword expert. She was already familiar with the burning heaven sword formation. Su Yun had only just come into contact with this sword, and had only learned a little. How could he be her match? Seeing the power of the sword, Su Yun was a little angry. This woman did not hold back at all. Could it be that she was still angry? He felt a little stuffy in his heart. Previously, he had given in to Ling Qingyu in all aspects, and felt that it was enough. But this woman was insatiable and was overbearing. Su Yun immediately raised his hand and released a wisp of profound chi, striking the sharp sword. With his third stage of Sky Spirit Master cultivation, the profound chi immediately broke the sharp sword. Ling Qingyu was shocked, and then her expression became sullen. "Su Yun, what are you doing? You didn't learn this sword formation properly, and actually used a profound technique to break it? What the hell are you thinking? I should be the one asking you that, right? Are you teaching me how to learn sword formations? I think you want to kill me, right?" Su Yun shrugged his shoulders. Damn it, I want you to learn well, so you have to learn well. How can an ordinary person have the honor of letting me teach him sword formations?" Ling Qingyu said angrily. She took out the sharp sword that was placed at the side of the cultivation room, and once again activated Sword of Sun and Moon towards Su Yun. The power was still as sharp as ever, as though it wanted to kill Su Yun. Seeing that, Su Yun activated the profound chi again, but Ling Qingyu persevered, as though she would not be satisfied until she beat Su Yun to the ground. Seeing that, Su Yun was truly angry. He suddenly disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already behind Ling Qingyu. Ling Qingyu's body trembled. She suddenly turned her head, only to see Su Yun looking down at her. His black and red face was filled with seriousness. She anxiously retreated, wanting to attack again. But in the next second, Su Yun extended his hand out, grabbed her wrist from left and right, and pressed her against the pillar at the side. "Woman, are you done yet?" Su Yun stared at Ling Qingyu and roared. "You, let me go, what are you doing?" Let me go. Ling Qingyu screamed. She continued to struggle, but regardless of strength or cultivation, she was no longer Su Yun's opponent. How could she struggle free? I already said it was an accident. I didn't do it on purpose. Do you still need to be so angry? It's not like you'll lose a piece of flesh if I touch your chest. Hearing Su Yun say it out loud, Ling Qingyu did not expect it. She was stunned for a moment, her face flushed red, embarrassed and angry. You are shameless. Ling Qingyu suddenly raised her right leg and kicked toward Su Yun's crotch. This kick was powerful. She had even used the profound qi. If it were to hit the mountain, it would probably cause a crack to appear on the mountain. If she were to let this attack hit, the consequences would be unimaginable. Su Yun broke out in cold sweat. He anxiously closed his legs and clamped Ling Qingyu's legs. Ling Qingyu's fair thighs were immediately immobilized, and she was only a few inches away from Su Yun's lower body. Su Yun's robe was fluttering from the profound qi on his legs. He felt a chill on his lower body and almost got hit. That was close. His face was pale, and his back was drenched in sweat. Looking at the woman again, she was still unwilling to give up and was still struggling with all her might. Enough. Stop it right now. Su Yun was furious and bellowed. Bastard, you took advantage of me, and you're just going to let it go? When did you become like a secular woman, being so calculative? Have all your years of cultivation been eaten by dogs? It has nothing to do with you. Anyway, you took advantage of me, so you have to pay the price. What do you want? Kill you. You. Su Yun was shocked and angry. Looking at Ling Qingyu's angry face, his gaze uncontrollably shifted to her perky chest and immediately sneered. All right, Qingyu, since you want to kill me, why don't you let me enjoy it? With that said, Su Yun immediately lowered his head and buried it into the soft and smooth ground. Ling Qingyu was completely stunned. She opened her eyes wide, looking at the head that was fiercely shaking on her chest. Her entire body seemed to have been petrified. I didn't mean it just now. If I let you kill me just like that, then I would be too wronged. Now that I did it on purpose, if you want to kill me, then kill me. At least I won't die unjustly. Su Yun took 2 deep breaths, let go of Ling Qingyu's hand, and snorted. However, Ling Qingyu was not angry, nor was she resentful. She looked at Su Yun in a daze, as if she was broken. After an unknown period of time, she suddenly regained her senses. She lowered her eyes, pursed her lips, and turned her face slightly. Tears flickered in her eyes, and her cheeks were bright red. Seeing that, Su Yun felt that his burning hot brain had calmed down. It seemed that he had gone overboard. Although Ling Qingyu had a bad temper, she was just messing around and did not really want to kill him. Her cultivation was not ordinary, but she was still a woman. How could she tolerate other men being so frivolous? About that Qingyu. Just as Su Yun was about to speak, he saw Ling Qingyu suddenly turn around, transforming into a ray of white light and entering the sword sheath. Qingyu! Su Yun shouted anxiously, but Ling Qingyu was completely motionless. It seemed like she was really angry this time. Seeing that, Su Yun felt helpless. A woman's thoughts were really hard to understand. Sect leader! Just then, a series of shouts came from outside the cultivation room. Following that, Hua Tianwu ran over, shouting loudly, Sect leader, something bad has happened. Sect leader. Hearing that, Su Yun anxiously opened the door, looked at Hua Tianwu who was running over, and asked, What happened? Hua Tianwu anxiously cupped his fists and shouted, Sect leader, something happened in the southern mountain. Southern mountain? Su Yun frowned. The few roads at our sword sect is in charge of sealing. That's right. It seems like the criminal that the realm tree and the others are chasing is heading towards the south of the mountain. That person plans to barge in and injure many of our disciples. Right now, he is passing through the southern mountain road. I have already arranged for the experts of the sect to intercept him, but that person's cultivation is high. I am afraid he will not be easy to deal with. Hearing that, Su Yun thought for a moment, then said softly, Let's go. Follow me over. Instruct the disciples to quickly leave. Do not sacrifice yourselves for nothing. Let the experts of our sect try their best to delay that person. if we do not hold on and let that person barge into the Linglong Mountain. I am afraid that the Realm Tree and the various sects of the Linglong Mountain will use our Lotus Star Sword sect to punish us." With that said, Su Yun took out the Tribulation Fire Sword, stepped on the sword, and flew into the sky, with Hui Tianwu following closely behind. The Lotus Star Sword sect was located at the edge of the Linglong Mountain, and the area south of the mountain was not far from the main location of the sect. It was precisely because it was close to the Lotus Star Sword sect that it was entrusted with the task of sealing off the area. When Su Yun approached the southern region of the mountain anxiously, he felt his heart beating wildly for no reason. For some reason, a strange feeling rippled in his heart. What was going on? Su Yun was puzzled. When they got close to the south side of the mountain, they could see the figures of a few disciples floating in the air. They held on to their swords and continuously released sword chi downwards, and below them, there were also continuous explosions. Thick smoke billowed, and the ground was smashed into pieces. Some of the disciples were lying on the side of the road, unconscious. Even more people were gathered in the thick smoke, as if they were fighting with someone. Roar! A dignified and oppressive roar erupted from the thick smoke. Following that, a golden light appeared. A circle of sound waves blew in all directions, and the Lotus Star Sword sect disciples in the dust were immediately sent flying. Seeing that, Su Yun did not dare hesitate, and immediately controlled the Tribulation Fire Sword to fly towards the dust. However, when he got close to the dust, the aura within the dust suddenly disappeared without a trace. Not only the aura, even the terrifying golden light had completely disappeared. What was going on? Su Yun secretly congealed and became cautious. But in the next second, a petite figure rushed out from the dust. This figure was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, it was already close to Su Yun. He was slightly startled, but before he could react, the figure had already pounced into his embrace. Su Yun was shocked. He suddenly lowered his head to look, but what entered his eyes were two snow-white, furry ears. A soft and fragrant feeling came from his body. This was not an attack at all. "Big brother, where did you run off to? It's been so hard for me to find you." A soft voice came out, and the person buried his head deep into Su Yun's chest and took a deep breath. Hearing that voice, Su Yun suddenly woke up and felt extremely shocked in his heart. "Qianmei?" He cried out involuntarily, not daring to believe that the person who suddenly appeared was actually the Hu Qianmei that he had not seen for a long time. He never would have thought that Hu Qianmei would follow him to this mystical Wanhua realm. Just how capable was this fox spirit to be able to come to such a place? However, Hu Qianmei's appearance made Su Yun both surprised and happy, and a strange feeling slowly floated up in his heart. Thinking back to the past, Su Yun felt a myriad of emotions. He did not know why, but in Su Yun's heart, Hu Qianmei had unknowingly become as important as a family member. "You just realized it was me? You're really slow to react. Big brother, I already knew the moment you appeared. I remember your aura very clearly." Hu Qianmei raised her head. Her young and charming face revealed a sly smile. She then raised her small hand and quietly pinched Su Yun's lower body. Su Yun's entire body trembled, and he almost fell off the Tribulation Fire Sword. He anxiously slapped away Hu Qianmei's evil little hand and looked around in embarrassment, only to see that the Lotus Star Sword sect disciples below all had their mouths wide open, as big as an egg, as they stared blankly at the two people in the air. Everyone was like a statue, motionless, completely shocked. "This damned fox spirit. Can't you tell the difference?" Su Yun was furious. He thought that he would teach her a lesson later, and then brought Hu Qianmei to the ground. He coughed, then said in a serious tone, "All of you stop. This is one of us." Only Hu Tianwu was the first to wake up from his shock. He quickly walked over, looked at Hu Qianmei, and then cupped his fists. "So it's Madam Sect Leader, we are truly rude to actually treat you as a criminal of the Realm Tree. Please forgive us, forgive us." Madam Sect Leader? It seemed like Hu Tianwu had seen that claw. Su Yun's old face was a little red. This fox spirit really did not let him be at peace. "Hey, There's no need to apologize. You guys are right. I am indeed a criminal of the Realm Tree. Hu Qianmei laughed and said, "What?" Su Yun was startled. Then, before Hu Qianmei could speak, a few sounds of breaking through the air came out from behind. Following that, a group of Realm Tree experts rushed over, with Zhugu and the rest leading them. Chapter 620. Seeing that, Su Yun's face became serious. However, Hu Qianmei grabbed onto Su Yun's big hand and shouted, "Big brother, run quickly. These fellows are here to capture me. Quickly leave the Wanhua realm with me." "Leave? Where to?" "Wherever you can go. Leave from the dark place's door of disorder. We must not let these fellows catch us. Otherwise we will be finished. They want to hand me over to the all-empty sect. Calm the anger of the all-empty sect." Hu Qianmei said anxiously, "I want to hand you over to the all-empty sect." Su Yun was shocked. "Could it be that you killed Xiao Huailin? Now is not the time to talk about this. Let's go," Hu Qianmei said. Seeing Hu Qianmei's anxious expression, Su Yun heaved a sigh of relief, and without hesitation, he immediately wanted to leave. But just then, a large number of figures flew out from the depths of the Linglong Mountain. All of them landed on a huge white cloud, pressing towards them, blocking their path. Su Yun saw that these people were the experts of the Linglong Mountain, led by Feathermoon Pavilion. "Oh, Sect Leader Su, so you have already captured this criminal. We just received news from Lord Zhugu and rushed here to capture this criminal. But we never thought that Sect Leader Su would be one step ahead of us." Yanwen saw that Su Yun and Hu Qianmei were together and did not understand what was going on. He thought that Su Yun had captured Hu Qianmei and immediately said with a smile. Seeing that, Su Yun and Hu Qianmei both stopped in their tracks. Su Yun stared at Yanwen. He never thought that the experts of the Linglong Mountain would actually rush here so quickly. Did they already receive the news? What a fast movement. Zhu Gu's group flew over from behind, looked at Su Yun and Hu Qianmei, and then asked Su Yun, "Who are you? Are you an accomplice of this criminal?" "Lord Zhu Gu, please do not misunderstand. This is my Lotus Star Sword Sect's new Vice Sect Leader Su Yun." Hua Tianwu, who was below, quickly introduced. "Oh." Hearing that, Zhu Gu looked at Su Yun and said, "You are actually the Vice Sect Leader of the Lotus Star Sword Sect?" "Sect Leader Su Yun, this person is my Realm Tree's criminal. The reason why we are here is to capture her. Since you have already captured her, quickly hand her over to us." With that, Zhu Gu waved his hand, and two people flew out from his side, approaching Su Yun. But in the next second, Su Yun held onto the tribulation fire beneath his feet with one hand, and suddenly waved it towards the two approaching people. The sword body exploded with a circle of flame energy, and like a wave, it smashed towards the two people. The two of them were startled and immediately used their chi to resist. The might of the flames was extremely strong and forced the two of them back. This action caused everyone present to be in an uproar. Sect Leader Su Yun, what are you doing? Gu. Yun Gu Yun, Yin Yun, Yun, Yin Yin said. Yun, Yin, Chun Yin, Qing Yin Wen, Yun Yin, Chun Xian Sect, Yin Sect, Yin God Gu Yin, Chun Yin, Yin Chun Chun. Sect Leader, what are you doing? Hua Tianwu asked involuntarily. Su Yun's expression was extremely serious. He bellowed, "Tianwu, from today onwards, I am no longer the Sect Leader of the Lotus Star Sword Sect. I no longer have anything to do with the Lotus Star Sword Sect. The matters here have nothing to do with you. Quickly bring your disciples back to the sect. Do not participate in this matter." "Do you know?" Sect Leader. The people from the Lotus Star Sword Sect below cried out involuntarily. They completely did not understand why Su Yun was doing this, and were unable to accept this sudden change. However, Hu Qianmei was very clear about Su Yun's actions. The corner of her mouth curled up, revealing a happy smile. This person was always thinking about others. For himself, in the face of so many tyrants, he did not hesitate to step forward. In order to not implicate the Lotus Star Sword Sect, he announced on the spot that he had severed all relations with the Lotus Star Sword Sect and always took all the misfortune on himself. "Is this really okay?" Hu Qianmei could not help but exclaim softly, even though there was a faint happy smile on his face when he spoke. "There's nothing good or bad about it. Su Yun's expression was resolute and said indifferently, "This is my decision. Since I have decided to do it, I will not regret it." He raised the tribulation fire sword in his hand, pointed at Jugu and the others in the distance, and said in a deep voice, "This person is my man. I do not know who you are. I do not care about your cultivation. I only want to tell you one thing. If I do not nod my head, you will never be able to take her away now. Either fight with me or leave. Make your choice." So arrogant. As Su Yun's words fell, everyone's hearts surged with a nameless rage. He was just a single person, and his cultivation was not considered outstanding, but facing the realm tree, facing so many experts of the Linglong Mountain, he actually dared to say such arrogant words. Did he not know how to write the word death? What big words! Jugu sneered. Who do you think you are? Can you contend against so many of our experts? But, just as Jugu finished speaking, Lu Yuan, who was at the side, suddenly understood. She stared at Su Yun for a long time, then exclaimed, "Are you the Lord Su Yun who destroyed the true Devil Realm scheme?" With that said, the people around Lu Yuan were all shocked. Is that the Lord Su Yun who was saved by the Realm Master? It's him? Why is he here? Lord Su Yun actually became the sect leader of the Lotus Star Sword sect. A few of the Realm Tree experts who had seen Su Yun before were suddenly enlightened and whispered to each other, exclaiming in shock. Jugu was the new guard captain and had never seen Su Yun before, so he did not recognize him. When Su Yun saw that the group of people recognized him, he remembered that his relationship with the Realm Tree was not bad, and immediately took out the divine leaf that the Realm Master had given me, and shouted, "Since all of you know me, then it's easy. This is the divine leaf that the Realm Master bestowed to me. There is no other meaning in taking it out. I only hope that everyone will not make things difficult for us, and quickly leave." Divine leaf? Lu Yuan was shocked. With this leaf, I can represent the Realm Master. Lord Jugu, what should we do? Su Yun has this item. We definitely cannot touch it. One of them turned his head and said to Jugu. Hearing that, Jugu secretly snorted. I don't care who Su Yun is, and I don't care what he has in his hands. The situation this time is extremely different. Everyone, don't you want to think about it? In your hearts, is the Wanhua realm more important, or is the leaf in that person's hand more important? Everyone was in a dilemma. If we rush over and capture that demon fox, we will be able to protect the Wanhua realm and protect the Wanhua realm. This way, although we will be punished by the Realm Master, we will be respected by the spirits of the Wanhua realm. Do you still not understand which is more important? Jugu drank again. These righteous words made the hesitant people come to a sudden realization. The situation was different now. If he was still worried about the divine leaf, the Wanhua realm would not be able to protect him. Lord Jugu is right. Compared to the entire Wanhua realm, this divine leaf is nothing. The situation is urgent now. We cannot be overcautious. Lu Yuan said solemnly. That's right, we are thinking from the perspective of the Wanhua realm. At this time, even if the Realm Master punishes us, it does not matter. Furthermore, we're dealing with the demon fox, not Lord Su Yun. There's no need to be afraid. Everyone attack together. We will snatch the demon fox first. If there is any responsibility, we will bear it together. All right. Following Jugu's bewitchment, the Realm Tree experts immediately had no more worries. They shouted in unison. The profound chi activated, their auras released. From the looks of it, they had already decided to fight with Su Yun. Pavilion Master Yin, what should we do? Amongst the experts of the Linglong Mountain who were led by Yin Wan, Sanhuai Sr. said to Yin Wen in a deep voice. Let's wait and see. Yin Wen said indifferently in a low voice. If these Realm Tree people want to capture the Fox Demon, then let them capture it. Sect Leader Su is indebted to my Linglong Mountain. If we would make a move, it would not be appropriate. Furthermore, Sect Leader Su has already announced that he has left the Lotus Star Sword sect, and it is already very difficult for him to deal with so many experts of the Realm Tree by himself. If we were to make a move at this time, in the future, if word were to spread, others would definitely say that my Linglong Mountain is repaying kindness with enmity, bullying with numbers. Wouldn't our reputation be ruined? When you all leave the Linglong Mountain in the future, I'm afraid you won't be able to raise your heads to see others, right? That's right. This is a matter of the realm tree. Let them handle it. We could just watch from the side. Zhang Luquang said. Yin Wen made his decision and immediately ordered everyone to retreat a few kilometers to make their stance clear. In the eyes of Zhu Gu and the rest, his actions made them unhappy. These fellows from the Linglong Mountain, they actually do not plan to make a move. Very good. After we settle these matters, I will definitely take care of all of you. Zhu Gu stared sinisterly at Yin, Wen, and the rest, and thought to himself. Lu Yuan and the rest spread out and surrounded Su Yun and Hu Qianmei in a ring shape. Lu Yuan pulled out the strange tree branch and shouted at Su Yun, Master Su Yun, although my Wanhua realm is indebted to you, I'm afraid that we cannot listen to you this time. You must hand over this fox demon. If not, my Wanhua realm will not be able to protect you. It seems like you are determined to fight me, Su Yun said coldly. There's no other choice. Lu Yuan clenched his teeth and said, Since that's the case, I won't be polite. Su Yun held on to the tribulation fire sword tightly and said coldly, Let's do it. Master Su Yun, you forced us to do this. I'm sorry. Lu Yuan said, then bellowed, I will hold Master Su Yun back. You guys capture the fox demon. With that said, Lu Yuan rushed over with 4 people straight toward Su Yun. Seeing that, Su Yun was about to move. However, before he could make his move, Hu Qianmei beside him had already taken a step forward. She formed palms with both of her hands and waved them left and right, releasing 2 rays of golden light. The golden light flew out from her palm and quickly revolved around her. In the end, it actually merged together and formed a huge and slender rainbow. When the golden rainbow exploded, Lu Yuan and the rest were immediately forced to retreat, unable to get close to Su Yun and Hu Qianmei. But the rainbow was far from that. After circling around Hu Qianmei for more than 10 rounds, its surface suddenly changed, transforming into a gigantic golden dragon, pouncing straight towards Lu Yuan and the rest. What? Lu Yuan's face changed. Chapter 6:21. The golden dragon appeared, bringing with it an unstoppable might. It smashed towards Lu Yuan and the rest. The aura of the golden dragon was extremely vast, like a storm sweeping in all directions. The moment it appeared, all the realm tree experts were actually unable to get close to it. What is this? Su Yun was shocked. He turned his head and looked at the petite fox in front of him and asked, Qianmei, what cultivation level are you at now? Immediately enter the 5th stage of Sky Spirit Master. The corner of Hu Qianmei's mouth raised and said with a smile, What? Su Yun was extremely shocked. When did your cultivation become so strong? 5th stage of Sky Spirit Master? This was simply flying at high speed. It was already an inconceivable thing for her to come here, but her cultivation was so vast. Could it be that she had encountered some sort of fortuitous encounter? Su Yun thought. Hu Qianmei seemed to have understood Su Yun's confusion. She turned and smiled. Big brother, have you forgotten about us sharing our innate talent? Although you have left, your talent has increased explosively, and your cultivation has increased, which is extremely helpful to me. Furthermore, I have obtained a divine object called True Dragon City, and cultivating inside this divine object, my cultivation speed has increased by 1,000 miles, and is not something ordinary people can compare to. Adding that I have seized Xiao Huailin's cultivation, my cultivation has risen to the 4th stage of Sky Spirit Master, and is close to the 5th stage. So that's how it is. Big brother, after we get rid of these annoying people, I'll bring you into the True Dragon City and dual cultivate with you, okay? Ugh, let's settle the matter in front of us first. Su Yun's old face flushed red and said awkwardly. Seeing Su Yun's embarrassed look, Hu Qianmei laughed even more happily. Seeing that Hu Qianmei was still talking to Su Yun and completely ignoring him, Lu Yuan was truly furious. You're simply looking down on me, she growled. The tree branch in her hand released a green light, and countless thick vines shot out from the light, directly rushing towards the golden dragon. The vines seemed to be alive as they wrapped around the golden dragon, binding the golden dragon that was completely condensed from the profound qi. Its movements were restricted, and the surrounding realm tree experts immediately rushed forward, attacking with the intention of scattering it. It was just that these people had obviously underestimated the golden dragon, and even more so, they had underestimated the current Hu Qianmei. The golden dragon had suffered a fierce attack. The surrounding profound skill continued to fly over, but its power was still gone. The light was not weak. It roared, struggling with its body. It actually broke a large amount of vines and was about to break free. Lu Yuan was stunned. So powerful. Su Yin was slightly surprised in his heart. The strength of the golden dragon had probably already surpassed the range of a 5th-stage sky spirit master cultivator. It should be a treasure, and not just a simple, profound technique. Lu Yuan held onto the tree branch and continued to fight with the golden dragon. The green vines continued to appear, but they were all shattered by the golden dragon's claws. Facing such an existence, Lu Yuan felt that it was extremely strenuous, and he still needed the cooperation of the other 3 realm tree experts to barely block it, but he could not hold on for long. Master Lu Yuan, hold this magic tool back. I will go capture the fox demon. Zhu Gu shouted at Lu Yuan and the rest who were still struggling to deal with the golden dragon, and then rushed towards Hu Qianmei. Hu Qianmei used all her strength to control the golden dragon, and was already powerless to fight against Zhu Gu and the rest. Seeing that, Su Yin naturally would not stand by the side and watch. Holding onto the tribulation fire sword, he slashed down crazily, and a large amount of sword chi that contained a blazing temperature exploded out. Zhu Gu secretly snorted. The profound chi was released, transforming into a barrier that surrounded his body. The sword chi struck, but could not even break through his defense. Is that all you have? Zhu Gu said coldly. With a wave of his hand, a dark green dagger appeared, and the dagger pierced straight towards Su Yun's heart. Su Yun did not panic. His eyes were focused on the incoming dagger. The tribulation fire sword in his hand was like a fan as it flew towards the dagger. His profound strength could not compare to Zhu Gu, but the sword that he danced with was extremely vast. It had the aura of a whale swallowing mountains and rivers. The tribulation fire sword struck the dagger, causing the sword to continuously retreat, but the flames on the sword were like venomous snakes that followed the dagger and spread towards Zhu Gu's wrist. Zhu Gu felt a tearing and burning sensation coming from his wrist and arm. He snorted and quickly retracted his hand. But just at this moment, his left palm shot out like lightning. A ball of poisonous gas shot out from his palm and strangely spread towards Su Yun. What? Su Yun was startled. Before he could even react, he was immediately engulfed by the poisonous gas. The gas seeped into his skin, corroding his internal organs, causing him to fall from the sky. Hu Qianmei sensed Su Yun's movement. He suddenly turned his head and exclaimed, "Big brother!" Bang! Su Yun directly fell to the ground. His face was pale white. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, as though he had been poisoned. So despicable. He actually used poison. Hu Qianmei gritted his teeth in anger. Despicable? Didn't you use all sorts of schemes and tricks on us along the way? How can I be despicable when dealing with people like you? Zhu Gu snorted. He did not care about Hu Qianmei and directly rushed towards Su Yun with his dagger. Looking at his posture, he wanted to take Su Yun's life. Protect the sect leader. At this critical moment, a loud shout came from the side. Everyone looked over in shock, only to see Hua Tianwu bringing a large number of experts from the Lotus Star Sword sect rushing towards Su Yun. These people surrounded Su Yun so tightly that not even a drop of water could leak out. All of them had solemn expressions, holding onto their weapons as they stared at Zhu Gu, as though they were facing death calmly. Good, good. Your Lotus Star Sword sect actually dares to go against our realm tree. Very good. Since that's the case, then I will send your Lotus Star Sword sect to the west together. Zhu Gu said, sinisterly. He swung his dagger downwards, the dagger blade suddenly becoming 100 meters long. This attack was extremely fierce. However, just as the attack landed, Su Yun, who was on the ground, suddenly leaped up and rushed towards Zhu Gu as though nothing had happened. What? Zhu Gu's eyes were round, his face filled with astonishment. He looked at Su Yun, only to realize that his complexion was not bad. His eyes were bright and full of spirit. He did not look like he was poisoned at all. Pretending to be weak? Jugu suddenly understood. Although he had planned to use this poison to ambush him long ago, he had already planned to show weakness to the enemy and find a chance to break the enemy. "You're even more despicable than me." Jugu gritted his teeth and roared. He had already used his move, and it was difficult to retract it. At this moment, he could only fight him head-on. He did not believe that his cultivation, which was close to the 7th stage, would not be able to defeat the 3rd stage of the Sky Spirit Master. However, Jugu did not know that the current Su Yun wanted to fight him head-on. In the previous battle, although Su Yun's aura was not weak, he understood that his cultivation was too low and did not have the advantage. The opponent's cultivation was high, and there were many of them. If he wasted too much profound chi on Jugu, he would definitely not be able to contend against the others. Therefore, he had to use the most efficient method to deal with these people. If not, he and Hu Qianmei would not be able to escape this calamity. And now, the opportunity had come. But when Su Yun got close to the gigantic dagger, the tribulation fire in his hand suddenly loosened. The divine sword fell to the ground, and his hand reached into the sword sheath with lightning speed. With a flash of white light, a holy and pure sword image floated out. A snow-white lotus mark suddenly bloomed in the air, and at the center of the lotus mark was the snow-white sword. Lotus Star Sword Art. Hua Tianwu, who was below, shouted involuntarily. The group of Lotus Star Sword sect disciples all burst into an uproar. Su Yun held onto the Lotus Star Sword. The sword tip supported the lotus mark and directly rushed toward Jugu. His expression was solemn, his eyes were white, and his entire body was overflowing with a strange halo. "Break!" Su Yun bellowed. The long sword struck out, the lotus mark touched the gigantic dagger blade, and in the blink of an eye, it wrapped around the dagger blade tightly, and then suddenly pushed forward, clang. The huge dagger blade suddenly shattered into pieces and was completely shattered by the lotus mark. Jugu's eyes were dull. He was completely stunned. Such a shocking turn of events was completely out of everyone's expectations. Su Yun released the Lotus Star Sword, and with his bare hands, he quickly rushed over, but when he got close to Jugu, he spun his body, and his empty right hand made a chopping motion, fast as lightning. When Jugu regained his senses, he had already waved his fist. But at this moment, Jugu felt his chest burning. He looked down and saw that his entire chest had been cut open. "Ah!" Jugu screamed in pain. He fell from the sky. He opened his eyes to look, only to see that Su Yun's hands were still empty. There was nothing. "Wait." Jugu seemed to have sensed something. His gaze landed on his right hand, only to see his right hand clenching tightly, as if he was holding a sword. Could it be that this guy's sword was invisible? Thinking of this, Jugu was truly shocked and furious. This guy had been scheming against him from the very beginning. First, break the weapon, make it impossible for him to guard against it, and then secretly attack. Defeat himself. How could this person be so despicable? Jugu gritted his teeth and thought. Although his cultivation was not as high as his, this series of methods was truly impossible to guard against. Su Yun leaped down from the sky, holding onto the invisible sword. He smashed it towards Jugu. He followed the sword, like a meteor falling to the ground. It was unstoppable. The situation was critical. Jugu anxiously activated his magic treasure. A thick and tall mountain appeared in the sky out of nowhere, and then pressed down on Su Yun. Jugu, on the other hand, anxiously dodged to the right, and dodged 1,000 meters away. With a dong sound, the ground trembled incessantly, and Su Yun's entire body was smashed into the ground by the mountain. "Big brother." Hu Qianmei was anxious again, but at the moment, she could not free her hands. The pressure the other Realm Tree experts gave her was extremely huge. If she cared about Su Yun, both of them would die miserably. The consequences would be severe. But at this moment, something strange happened again. The gigantic mountain that Jugu summoned suddenly trembled violently. Cracks appeared in the middle of the mountain. Rocks collapsed. The mountain body collapsed. and with a loud boom, the entire mountain exploded. When he looked again, an incomparably huge giant had appeared at the foot of the mountain. The power of the entire scene suddenly changed, and Su Yun was standing on the giant's shoulder. Su Yun stared at Zhu Gu, his eyes filled with killing intent. He raised his hand and pointed at Zhu Gu. The giant let out a roar. He extended his hand and grabbed towards Zhu Gu. A huge hand that blotted out the sky. It was as if he had swallowed the mountains and rivers. Zhu Gu was shocked. He immediately dodged, but he could not escape the grasp of the giant hand, and his entire body was wrapped in the palm. Crack! A horrifying sound came out. The giant hand suddenly clenched and crushed Zhu Gu to death. Chapter 622. Zhu Gu's tragic death had intimidated the rest of the experts present, and all of the Realm Trees were shocked. Could this incomparably large giant be Su Yun's method? No wonder this person dared to protect the fox demon by himself and fight against us. So he has this treasure to rely on. Lu Yuan, who was repelled by the golden dragon, looked at the giant that supported the sky and muttered in shock. The giant's hand slowly loosened, and specks of glowing blood and minced meat flowed out from between his fingers. Zhu Gu had long since disappeared, leaving behind a pile of rotten meat. When Yin Wen and the rest saw this from afar, they all felt fear in their hearts. Everyone had witnessed Su Yun, this giant, when he was dealing with Xiao Hualin previously. Although it was not a devil-bone spirit, it was just a devil-bone giant that had yet to fuse, but its strength and aura was enough to make people fearful. With Zhu Gu killed, the rest of the people could not do anything to Hu Qianmei, so they temporarily retreated and distanced themselves from him. Lu Yuan retreated and anxiously took out a pill from the space bag and stuffed it into her mouth. Her face was pale, and her qi was in a mess. It was obvious that she did not gain any benefits from Hu Qianmei. However, Hu Qianmei was not in a good state either. Her originally pink and tender face was pale white. Her peach blossom-like eyes were dim. Her eyelids drooped slightly. She was already exhausted, as though she could faint at any time. If not for Su Yun's presence, she would not have been able to hold on any longer. To be able to block so many experts of the Realm Tree by herself, the strength she had displayed was truly shocking. Lu Yuan naturally knew that the magic treasure Hu Qianmei used was extraordinary, and Su Yun also had some incredible treasures in his hands. With the two of them relying on these profound artifacts, it would be difficult to capture them easily. We came in a hurry and were not prepared, so we lost them for a while. However, everyone, do not be discouraged. The cultivation of these two people is not high. They only have an advantage by relying on a magic treasure. We do not have to be afraid of them. Lu Yuan stared at Su Yun, who was leaning towards Hu Qianmei, and was no longer courteous. His voice became cold. That person called Su Yun killed Lord Zhu Gu, and as matters stand, he is no longer a friend of my Realm Tree, but an enemy of my Realm Tree. Lord Zhu Gu is an important minister of my Realm Tree, and this matter is also for my Wanhua realm. Su Yun's mistakes are unforgivable. Everyone attack together. Kill Su Yun. Capture the fox demon. Go. After saying that, Lu Yuan held his breath and rushed forward again. Thinking about Zhu Gu's tragic death, everyone was filled with grief and indignation. At that moment, no one held back, no one retreated, and all of them attacked Su Yun and Hu Qianmei like a torrential storm. The people of the Wanhua realm all used the spirit life qi as their main source. The spirit life qi was both life and death. Life and death coexisted. Life and death coexisted. Life and death coexisted. Their spirit life qi could heal injuries, recover flesh and blood, and pull the dead back from hell, but it could also turn into a formless fatal poison, turning the flourishing business into withered bones and ruins. These people were all elites of the Realm Tree, and the spirit life qi they used was also extremely exquisite. Most of them were poison, and the two of them were surrounded by a thick ball of poison gas. The poison gas attacked their bodies, and the various mechanisms in their bodies quickly disappeared. The speed at which the profound qi circulated also became extremely slow, and some of the profound chi in the chi meridian suddenly collapsed, making it difficult to accumulate. Hu Qianmei was already on the verge of collapse and almost fell from the sky. The body of the golden dragon that she was controlling had also started to dim and was no longer as brilliant as before. Seeing that, Su Yun immediately controlled the giant to rush over and hug Hu Qianmei. The giant waved his hands and attacked the approaching realm tree people, but it was difficult for two fists to fight against four hands. If this continued, the other party would only break through the giant's defense and kill him. Su Yun secretly took a deep breath. Looking at the overbearing Lu Yuan and the rest, his heart was filled with anger. Lu Yuan, although I am only at the third stage of the Sky Spirit Master, my current methods are definitely not only at the third stage of the Sky Spirit Master. Zhu Gu insisted on being my enemy, so I had no choice but to kill him. If you continue to force me like this, then don't blame me for not giving Realm Master face and starting a massacre. Su Yun's expression was sinister as he roared coldly. You're still being stubborn at a time like this. There are 7 existences above the 6th stage of the Sky Spirit Master here. You're just a 3rd stage of the Sky Spirit Master. How can you contend against them? Don't be so arrogant. Lu Yuan said coldly, her eyes filled with disdain. In her eyes, Su Yun was just putting on an act. Su Yun's expression was stern. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, he knew that he had no choice. He could only raise his hand and change the seal. Seeing that, Yin Wen's face changed. Not good. Could it be that Lord Su Yun is going to use that move? Lord Yinwen, what technique is Lord Su Yun going to use? The people at the side did not understand. The move that killed Xiao Huailin back then. Song Huai Sr. said indifferently, the chi on the puppet equipment has started to change. I'm afraid that Lord Su Yun has already activated the technique, and very soon, that terrifying magic tool will appear. Even an expert like Xiao Huailin is like an ant in front of that magic tool. Lu Yuan and the rest will probably turn into powder and will not be able to escape. What? As the sound of his voice faded, everyone was shocked. It is right that we did not make a move. Today, Lord Su Yun's strength is even higher than when he fought against Xiao Huailin. Yinwen said. The surroundings started to shake. The profound chi around Su Yun's body quickly gathered. Like a river gushing out of his body, it gathered at his arm. This was the profound technique to summon the devil bone spirit. The sky darkened and the wind and clouds changed color, as if the end of the world had arrived. Lu Yuan and the rest felt that something was amiss. Their expressions became vigilant. They did not know why, but they felt that their hearts were covered with a layer of shadow. It was extremely oppressive. Stop! Right at this moment, a melodious and urgent shout resounded in the horizon. A large group of figures flew over from the horizon. Lu Yuan was still fighting a bloody battle with the giant, intending to break through the giant's defensive line and attack Su Yun, who was casting the spell. However, Yin Wen and the rest were the first to notice the person who had arrived. When they noticed the person, Yin Wen could no longer hold it in and shouted loudly, Lord Su Yun, Lord Lu Yuan, please stop, Prime Minister Rong is here. Prime Minister Rong? Lu Yuan was startled. He retracted his hand and looked back, only to see Rong Myuk leading a large number of Realm Tree elites, rushing over. Everyone stop, quickly stop. Rong Myuk shouted, his expression anxious. Seeing that, Lu Yuan gave the others a look, and only then did they give up. Seeing that Lu Yuan had stopped, Su Yun removed the Devil Bone Spirit's technique, kept his sword and retreated, guarding against Lu Yuan and the rest. Lu Yuan asked, Prime Minister Rong, what are you doing here? I am here on the orders of the Realm Lord to recall all of you. Rong Myuk exhaled and said in a serious tone, the Realm Lord has already stated it. Why didn't you all listen? The Realm Lord has ordered that you're not allowed to act on your own. Quickly return to the Realm Tree and assist the Realm Lord in facing the enemy. I know that the Realm Lord does not wish for us to capture the Fox Demon and hand it over to the All-Empty sect, but as matters stand, this is no longer a matter of the Fox Demon, but a matter of Su Yun. He killed Lord Zhu Gu. How can we let this matter rest? Lu Yuan snorted. Hearing that, Roamyuk was not too surprised. He waved his hand at the people beside him, and a spirit cultivator immediately flew out from the crowd. Circling in the air, he swayed around twice, then returned to Roamyuk's side and nodded at Roamyuk. Roamyuk understood, then turned his head and said to Lu Yuan, "It's just that my body has been destroyed. My soul is still fine. Once I return to the realm tree and reconstruct my body, I can revive. Don't worry." But with his body destroyed, Lord Jugu's cultivation lost. To a spirit cultivator, what's the difference between that and death? Lu Yuan snorted. "If that's the case, I'm afraid that even if Lord Jugu were to revive, he would still be better off dead. Then what do you want?" Seeing that Lu Yuan was being overbearing, Su Yun was furious, and without waiting for Roamyuk to speak, he snorted and asked, "How is it? Of course I'll break your body. Destroy your cultivation." Lu Yuan said coldly, "That depends on whether you can do it. Su Yun, you're too arrogant." Lu Yuan was furious and was about to attack again. Seeing that, Roamyuk immediately stopped him. "Masters, please don't be angry. Please don't be angry." Roamyuk sighed and said, "No matter what the result of the two of you fighting, it is not something that we want to see. Now that the enemy is invading, what we need to do is to defend against the enemy and not to engage in a meaningless fight here." He looked at Lu Yuan and said, "Lord Lu, I know your intentions, and I also understand that you're doing this for the sake of the Wanhua realm. But what you're doing now is useless. Even if you hand over the fox demon who killed Xiao Huailin to the all-empty sect, they will not let the matter rest. Do you think that the Cloud Heavenly Palace is really here to stand up for Xiao Huailin?" Lu Yuan opened his mouth. "This, Lord Jugu's body being destroyed is not within my expectations, but the matter has already been cast, and there is no way to reverse it. Lord Lu Yuan, even if you kill Lord Su Yun, it'll be useless." Roamyuk shook his head. "Right now, the Realm Tree is in need of people. Please quickly return to the Realm Tree and listen to the Realm Master's orders." Hearing that, Lu Yuan and the rest were naturally unconvinced, but since Roamyuk had already said it like that, it would not be good for them to go against him. Furthermore, Su Yun was not easy to deal with. "Then what about this person?" Lu Yuan asked. Roamyuk's gaze landed on Su Yun. He thought for a while, then asked, "Master Su, what are your next preparations?" "Leave the Wanhua realm," Su Yun said indifferently. "All right." Roamyuk nodded his head. "All Empty Sect is using the Fox Demon as an excuse to attack my Wanhua realm. If you all leave the Wanhua realm, it might be beneficial to us. Since that's the case, you all should immediately head to the Gate of Nature and hurry up and leave. Once the All Empty Sect succeeds in constructing the bridge, you all will immediately enter the Wanhua realm. And at that time, the Gate of Nature will definitely be sealed, and you all will have nowhere to go." Hearing that, Su Yun cupped his fist towards Roamyuk. "Prime Minister Rong has good intentions. Su Yun appreciates it. We can leave now. I will give the order to the guards of the Gate of Nature to not make things difficult for you. You all should leave quickly. Farewell." Su Yun did not stand on ceremony. He cupped his fists towards Roamyuk and immediately carried Hu Qianmei, who was on the verge of fainting, and flew into the distance. Lu Yuan and the rest could only watch as Su Yun left, feeling extremely angry. Chapter 6:23. On the branch of the Realm Tree, a beautiful Realm Master dressed in green stood gracefully. Her delicate and pretty face looked especially refreshing and pleasant in the beautiful Realm Tree. Below, countless armored soldiers were gathered, and people were rushing over from all directions. The scene was extremely spectacular. The Realm Master watched quietly, her expression serene. A large number of bird cries sounded out in the sky. Following that, countless birds flew over from the mountain. They were densely packed, covering the sky and covering the sun, flying towards the Realm Tree. There were eagles as big as small houses, giant birds covered in flames, and strange birds that looked like Baifeng with lightning flashing in their eyes. It was bizarre and wondrous. In the distance, countless furious or low roars resounded. The ground started to tremble slightly. Dust flew into the air, and waves of running sounds floated towards them. Looking over, It was actually the countless creatures and beasts of the Wanhua realm gathering here. In the end, the Wanhua realm was a realm of nature, and what the realm master commanded was not only the people here, but also the things here, the spirits here, and everything here. When the Wanhua realm was in trouble, the ones who stood up to protect it were not limited to the spirit cultivator, but also countless beasts and birds. They gathered at the periphery, lined up in an orderly manner, as though they were waiting for the realm master's orders. Seeing that, Realm Master turned her head slightly. "Is there any news from Sword World?" Hearing that, the person at the side immediately cupped his fists and replied respectfully, "Reporting to Realm Master, there has been no news for 2 days." 2 days? Realm Master frowned slightly. "All Empty Sect's Bridge of Realm will be completed tomorrow. Logically speaking, there should be news coming today. Why is there no movement yet?" "Perhaps the messenger is already on his way," the man said respectfully. "Is that so?" Realm Master lowered her head in thought. "Realm Master, do not worry. Although my Wanhua realm is not as good as the other realms, it is still more than enough to deal with a few sects and powers. Even if all Empty Sect and the others come now, we are not afraid. That's not what I'm worried about." Realm Master shook her head lightly. "It's the people of True Devil Realm. True Devil Realm did not make any movements. Maybe they do not plan to make a move on my Wanhua realm this time. Do you think that's possible? If it was you, would you still be willing to be indifferent?" But the man opened his mouth, but no words came out. The Realm Master stretched out her hand and gently waved it in the air. Her finger, that was like a spring onion, emitted a resplendent green light and drew a circular image in front of her. A talisman that was as big as a tadpole appeared on the small array. Realm Master extended her jade finger and lightly tapped on the talisman, causing strands of exquisite spirit life, chi, to dance on her fingertips. It was very beautiful, but as the profound strength on her fingertips continued to collide with the circular diagram, Realm Master's beautiful face slowly became gloomy. In the end, a trace of oppression that was hard to capture surfaced in the depths of her eyes. As though she had heard some extremely bad news, she tore off the circular map in front of her, waved her hand, and urged the profound strength to shout. "Everyone, set off immediately, gather at the gate of nature, and prepare to meet the enemy." This sudden order caused the Realm Tree ministers behind him to be stunned. "Realm Master, there is no news from the Sword World, and the people of all Empty Sect will only be able to set up the bridge tomorrow. We're not done preparing yet. Why are we in such a hurry to set off now?" An old man behind him asked curiously. "The situation has changed. Don't say too much and quickly head to the gate of nature." "Faster," the Realm Master bellowed. Her voice was extremely serious and unquestionable. Seeing that, everyone knew that the Realm Master was not spouting nonsense. They did not dare delay and immediately gave the order. Very quickly, the soldiers under the Realm Tree started to move. One by one, they flew into the air and rushed towards the gate of nature, while the birds in the sky and the hundreds of beasts and spirits below all moved quickly. The ground and the sky converged into 2 dark green torrents, rushing towards the gate of nature. The scene was incomparably grand. After leaving the Linglong Mountain, Su Yin stepped on his flying sword and brought Hu Qianmei along as he flew straight towards the gate of nature. "Big brother, I'm sorry for causing you trouble again." Hu Qianmei grabbed on his Su Yun's clothes, stepped on his flying sword, and raised his head to smile at Su Yun. Her face was still very pale, without much blood, and the profound qi in her body had been used up a lot. If not for Su Yun feeding her pills in time, she would not even have the strength to speak. "Since things have come to this, apologizing is useless. Tell me, how do you plan to compensate me? Can I repay you with my body?" "Hee, don't be so ungrateful. Back then, when I met Xiao Huailin, I did not covet his cultivation. It was just that I found out that guy actually provoked Big Brother. That's why I killed him, in case he comes back to seek revenge on Big Brother in the future," Hu Qianmei said. Hearing that, Su Yun laughed bitterly and shook his head. Who knew that Xiao Huailin's background would be so big to actually make the Cloud Heavenly Palace's people move out. But luckily, there's still time. We will immediately leave the Wanhua realm and return to the ultimate martial world. The ultimate martial world is vast. There are countless capable people, and hidden sects are even more numerous. I'm afraid that the people from the Cloud Heavenly Palace will not dare to act recklessly there. Once we enter the ultimate martial world, they will not be able to do anything to us. I went to the Gate of Nature earlier and planned to leave first to avoid the limelight. I will come back to look for you in the future, but I didn't expect to be stopped by that stinky fellow called Jugu. They planned to hand me over to the Realm Master, and I ran all the way to the dark place to use the crevice to leave. If I was really handed over to the all-empty sect by them, I'm afraid that my life would be worse than death. This time, Prime Minister Rong has spoken. Don't worry, we'll leave immediately. We can't delay any longer. All right. Hu Qianmei nodded his head. He did not ask any further questions, swallowed another pill, recovered his profound qi, and quietly grabbed onto Su Yun's clothes and looked forward. Suddenly, a strange phenomenon occurred. The ground below them started to rumble, and in the distance, there were even the cries of a large number of birds. Su Yun and Hu Qianmei looked around and saw countless creatures flying over from all directions, all of them rushing towards the same direction. What's going on? Su Yun frowned as he looked. This direction is the direction of the Gate of Nature. What are these guys doing? Hu Qianmei did not understand. Su Yun lowered his head and thought for a while, then intentionally slowed down his speed and said, "Don't worry about it too much. If these creatures are heading towards the Gate of Nature, then I'm afraid that something has happened to the Gate of Nature. Let's go over and take a look. If the situation is not right, the people of the Realm Tree will go back on their words, and we will leave from the dark place." All right, Hu Qianmei nodded. If it wasn't for the risk of the crevice in the dark place, Su Yun wouldn't have gone to the Gate of Nature. The entire Wanhua realm was in an uproar. Countless of living beings had gathered at the Gate of Nature. This spectacular scene could be said to be unprecedented, and unprecedented. Su Yun and Hu Qianmei rode their flying swords and approached the Gate of Nature. The two of them stood on top of a mountain and looked into the distance. But with just a glance, they were extremely shocked. The inside and outside of the Gate of Nature had long been surrounded so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Countless armored soldiers and countless creatures were densely packed together, causing people to panic. Are they here to take me? Hu Qianmei was startled. Do you need it? Sending so many experts just to capture you? Su Yun shook his head. Furthermore, if I really wanted to capture you, I would have done it long ago in the Linglong Mountain. Why would I wait until now? That Rong Muk's cultivation was even higher than giant Lu Yuan's. Don't think too much about it. There are so many Realm Tree experts here and so many living beings. It is most likely related to the Realm Master. Maybe the people from the all-empty sect are about to arrive. As he finished speaking, Su Yun's heart skipped a beat. Is that so? Hearing that, Hu Qianmei's pitch-black eyes looked towards a gigantic door that was surrounded by tens of thousands of flowers, and then said, "Since it's like that, we cannot stay any longer, big brother. That Rong Muk said that he has already informed the people here. We can leave now and return to the ultimate martial world. If we delay any longer, I'm afraid there will be trouble." All right. Su Yun nodded. The two of them increased their speed and rushed towards the Gate of Nature. As they got closer, they could hear waves of roars echoing nonstop. "Who are you? Quickly descend, or else be executed." Several shouts came from below. They were the officers of the army. "I am Su Yun. Quickly get out of the way. Your Prime Minister Rong Muk has given the order. Quickly disperse and let us pass," Su Yun shouted. However, none of the officers listened to Su Yun and immediately shouted, "The all-empty sect is about to arrive. The Gate of Nature has already been sealed by the barrier. No one is allowed to use the Gate of Nature to enter or exit. I don't care who you are, leave quickly. Otherwise, once the battle starts, you will all die. Do not blame us." What? The Gate of Nature has been sealed? Su Yun and Hu Qianmei were startled. The two of them raised their heads to look, only to see that in front of the gigantic Gate of Nature, there were a large number of spirit cultivator with high cultivation. Some of them were holding onto staffs, Some of them were holding on to scrolls and were wandering around in front of the gate of nature. All of them had their eyes closed and were muttering to themselves, as though they were talking about something. The front of the gate of nature was overflowing with light. The profound chi was floating like a layer of gorgeous curtain, completely covering the entire gate. Could it be that the people from the all-empty sect are really coming? Hu Qianmei opened her pink lips and said in a daze, "I'm not sure, but I heard that the bridge of world constructed by the all-empty sect should only arrive tomorrow. Why would they come today?" Su Yun said in a low voice, "Since things have come to this, we don't have much time left. Since we can't leave the gate of nature, we can only return to the Linglong Mountain. Qianmei, quickly, follow me to the dark place." Hearing that, Hu Qianmei regained his senses and anxiously turned and flew with Su Yun, returning back to the Linglong Mountain. The Realm Master was not here, and Rong Myuk was not here either, so Su Yun was unable to easily pass through the defense army and get close to the gate of nature. Furthermore, the seal array had already been set up, so it was impossible to break through the seal array and pass through the gate of nature. These seal array were all extraordinary items, and it was not easy to set them up. For now, if he wanted to leave the Wanhua realm, he could only head to the dark place. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.